All right, welcome to All In Live from Mount Airy Casino. I'm John Brazer and joined by Chris Ermer. And we also have Lee Alexander here. We brought some pretzels and his commentary on the Phillies off the air. We have a lot to get to because we're going to be here for 3 hours and we're going to have some fun guests. We're going to have Anthony Sanfilippo, Chris. We are going to have on Ben Jones.
Yes.
We are going to have Tommy Green making a live appearance from 4 to 5. So it's
Ben Jones and Tommy Green, we've had them with us on All In the past. Our first time that we're going to be joined by Anthony Sanfilippo, though. Great insights on the Flyers and the Phillies from that.
I was going to say he's very timely because he is a hockey expert.
Yes.
Obviously with his podcast work and being the beat writer and also beat writer for the Phillies. So not as much excitement for the Phillies. The excitement for the Flyers is kind of countered the lack of excitement for the Phillies. Now, while we're doing the show, the Phillies will be playing an afternoon game against Chicago, and they're hoping to avoid the sweep. They've got Christopher Sanchez on the mound. They are actually facing our old nemesis from the Marlins, Cabrera. So Cabrera's on the mound. We've had some success. I'll go through the numbers there. But the Phillies need to turn that around because it's ugly right now. And they made news if you haven't. There you go. If you haven't heard, they did release Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker, I worked obviously for the Phillies for 33 years.
That was Taijuan.
And
blew him up.
You feel bad because when you get to know these guys, and I can't say I really know Taijuan Walker, but from what everyone says and the few times I've interacted with him, it seems like a super nice guy, very accountable, but he just didn't have it. I mean, he served some value last year, but this year we couldn't get anything out of him. And I know Rob Thompson yesterday tried to do the starter, and then he comes in, but it's just not effective. I think Dave Dombrowski said we got to eat it.
Yeah, doing everything they could, giving him that opener, and still didn't look very sharp out there. Yeah. Taijuan Walker. I think a lot of fans, they think about these players and they focus and fixate on the millions of dollars that they're paid,
which is a little unfair.
That is a big part of it, but these are also human beings.
Yes.
And there's a point of, there's a pride element. And that's where, you think about these guys, they're professional athletes. They've been on the biggest stages out there and they're just not able to do what
and he's had success. He had success with the Mariners. He had success with the Mets.
So I feel that too. And certainly the human element. And Taijuan Walker, I think by all accounts, did everything that he could to be his best. There weren't any reports out there that he was lollygagging or not doing
hard
the work.
Worker
He put the work in. Just sometimes
he just
you
didn't
don't
have
get
it.
the results.
Yep, and his end of his career. But I think the bigger issue is just overall the Phillies are not hitting. I think I mentioned a stat where we are in the exact bottom for games where we have multiple innings where we've scored, right? So, which is not hard to do, score in multiple innings. And we were dead last. At one point, we were scoring 48% of the time. We were scoring more than one inning, the number should be about 70%, right? And it's not. And just right now, if you look at all the stats, whether it's starters ERA, whether it's a batting average, just almost every stat puts us towards the bottom. And we are. I mean, we'll go for it right now. I mean, the run differential. And that's pretty much how you can kind of see how good a team is and whether something is streaky or lucky. Right now,
Phillies right now worst in baseball. Right?
We have a negative 50 run differential. So the base of that means, obviously we have given up 50 more runs than we've scored. So we have scored 82 runs and we've given up 132 runs. Okay, so that is 50. To put that in perspective, Atlanta Braves have a run differential of plus 57. So the delta there is 107. 107 from the Braves to the Phillies, right? Oof. And it makes sense because we're 8.5 games out of the Phillies. And the tough part is we've had 15 home games. We are 5-10 at home. And we've only had 9 away games. So we've had a majority of our games at home, which is the friendly confines of Citizens Bank Park, but it's not so friendly, I guess. So it's just, there needs to be a change. I don't know whether Zach Wheeler, when he's going to be pitching on Saturday, will possibly inject some fresh energy in there, or maybe some lineup changes. I'm not sure what's going to take place. But when you look at that negative 50 differential, I mean, you think Kansas City's having a tough year, right? They have the worst record in baseball, 8-17, but they have a negative 35 run differential. Chicago White Sox, who should be at the bottom, and they're 9-15, negative 29. You look at Mets. As Mets they had 11-game losing streak, and they're 1 game behind us. They had 11-game losing streak, and they're 1 game behind us. And they have a 26 run differential, so they're better than us by 34 from a run differential point of view. It just you can't win games when you do that. And also when you look at, Chris, if you look at the stats, you go by the stats. Okay, you look at the box scores and you look at the Phillies stats. So we'll go with Schwarber, who's he's honestly, Schwarber and Harper and maybe Marsh a little bit have been the guys who are contributing. Schwarber's hitting 207, right? Not going to cut it. I didn't know he upped that average last year. He was hitting lefties last year. Turner, who was your leadoff hitter for a long time, hitting 235. You can't have a leadoff hitter hitting 235. Harper is hitting 261. Again, you want that higher. Garcia, kind of think we knew what we were going to get. We were hoping we would get the ALCS, Adolis Garcia, where he was the MVP, but he's hitting 212. And the worst part about that for Garcia, he's hitting 212, but he is, let's see, he has 27 strikeouts in 85 at bats.
I think Schwarber's strikeout numbers are getting pretty lofty as well.
Sure. So we have all the swing and miss, and then you get into the guys, to me, that okay, every team with the way it's constructed, you're going to have your superstars. You're going to have the guys who are in their prime. That could be the superstars, or it could not. For us, our superstars are not in their prime, but they're still superstars. Then you have the guys in their prime. Then you have the young guys. Okay, so for the young guys, you got Justin Crawford and you got Painter. Painter's got an ERA in the 4s. Hopefully he's going to get more comfortable. He's going to be shown flashes. Crawford's hitting 281, one of the highest batting averages on the team. And, he's had a couple of errors in the field, but Crawford, for the most part, has done his job, right, as a rookie. So you have the rookies, again, guys in their prime, then the stars. Guys in their prime are age-wise and experience-wise, Bohm, Stott, and Marsh. So if you look at Bohm is hitting 2 for 4. He's hitting 146. His OPS, I mean, it's his OPS is 413. He's batting 146, 1 home run, 11 RBI. And again, he is in his prime age. You got Stott. Stott is hitting 203.
Man, Alec Bohm is a player that would just drive you crazy, I think, because there are times these flashes of brilliance are like.
Well, he used to be the guy that you would want up to bat when the game's on the line, because he had gap power, and he would put the bat on the ball and he'd drive balls.
Yeah,
and that's why he batted cleanup. He's a right-handed bat. We don't have really a big power guy, so he was kind of the most effective. But then when all of a sudden he can't hit now, and his fielding, it kind of goes into the field. He's still.
I mean, baseball is so crazy. Like, how can he all of a sudden not be able to hit now?
I'm not sure.
That is so wild.
And it seems like both Stott and Bohm can't hit the fastball, which is, if you can't hit the fastball, that's not good. Well, then you also look at, now that JT's, again, getting older, we re-sign him. He's been okay. But Marchand, the backup, who's now getting the majority of the catching, he's hitting 086. So,
and JT, I feel, a lot of confidence with his ability to manage a game, to be behind the plate, to be that backstop, and to do all that stuff. But with a bat in his hand, I've just been losing confidence. Slowly, it's been eroding over these last couple of years.
He showed flashes last year. It's just, and
not sustained, though.
You're right. And, he's hitting 259, which, again, is not awful. But and then when Otto Kemp had a chance and he got sent down to the minors, Felix Reyes hits a home run his first at bat which is super exciting.
All right, hey,
but then he gets benched the next day.
Let me get back to your point about the guys in their prime and the guys on this Phillies team. And you're talking about Stott, you're talking about Marsh, you're talking about the guys that are young, but they've been in the league for 3, 4, 5
again,
years.
in their prime years. To me, if you're at 25, 26, 27, should be your prime years. Now you get some guys like, Bobby Witt Jr. who come up early and thrive early. Acuna, same thing. So I'm talking about the normal age of when, again, it's that balance of the young guys, prime guys, and your superstars.
I look at that group, though, and I point a finger at Dave Dombrowski. And I say, like, if in the offseason, you have to bring in somebody who's in that prime, a star. Like that was kind of what he was doing. Schwarber,
trying to get
Turner,
Bichette, but he's
Harper.
trying to get Bichette, but I think Bichette's agent played us and kind of, thought we were interested or thought they were going to come.
I mean, you could have kept Harrison Bader. There were some options that,
or you could. I think a lot of fans were hoping that they'd really shake it up and trade one of those prime guys, Now Stott would have had value because Stott's got one more year after this year on his contract, and I think there's still a perceived value of Stott. Bohm, not so much, only because Bohm, this is his last year. Bohm's been a little up and down. Not sure what he would have gotten, but sometimes just a change of scenery. So I think people were expecting like a big trade, and it got to the point where it looked like Bichette was going to come in. He signs with the Mets. So now all of a sudden we've got and we signed Schwarber, which is good. But then now that Bichette goes to the Mets, we had some money to spend, and we said, all right, we don't have any catching depth in the minors, so we've got to re-up. We can re-up Realmuto, and then we can extend Sanchez. We can extend Luzardo. Right?
I guess as a fan, you look at the lineup and you identify certain guys, and you have a perception of who they are as baseball players, and you want to believe that they can be their best and perform at that top level. Like you've seen those flashes of brilliance from each of those guys.
Yep.
But the internal Phillies people, right? Their scouting department is supposed to know. They're supposed to, I don't know, be able to identify which guys they want. And I feel like there was some failure in that department, especially when you're identifying those core guys that are the prime time guys. They've been in the league for a little while. They have a track record, but seems like they are trying to hope for the best, like a fan, instead of recognizing what they're seeing or I don't know, trying to.
I hear you. Or again, getting bold and just changing, making some bold trade on the offseason trades, doing something. But it seemed to the fans, and the fans' perception was last 3 years we're running it back. And we certainly didn't change the narrative because we were running it back.
Can we talk about this Flyers team, though?
Of course.
Can we change it up a little bit?
We could totally change it up because I was at Chickies and Pete's down in South Philadelphia. I went to an event with Vince from Philly Sports Trips. It's 10-year anniversary of their business. It's great. They're the ones who do all the road trips for Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, and other teams as well. So it was really fun. There was a good crowd there, Chickies and Pete's, and in the Chickies and Play area. And when they go down 1-0, you didn't feel. Obviously it's early, but the Flyers are close. They were skating hard, and it started getting chippy. Started getting really chippy. And to me, the refs weren't calling. They weren't calling it early, especially against the Penguins were getting the power play opportunities, and the Flyers weren't.
I mean,
and there's a lot, and there could have been opportunities and it's funny because after the game, Penguins are all complaining that the refs basically messed up and that they favored the Flyers, especially in that But then I think the big turning point was when Konechny gets literally his face rubbed. He got a face rub into the ice, right? And I don't. The announcers kept saying, "What did Konechny do? Was it an elbow? What did he do to set him off? What's the guy? Rust. Right. And, Russ is basically literally it was obnoxious. He's basically, and so, then Konechny, rightfully so, gets up and throws the gloves, says, come on. And Russ, who's bigger than Konechny, basically skated away. Right.
Yeah.
To me, that's almost like you lose face right there. And you I played hockey growing up. And I think you got to.
A little bit of that, but then there's also like, can't you draw a penalty that way? Like if you're used to be like, once the guy threw the gloves off and you took your equipment off, there was like a 2-minute minor. That's like,
all right. Well, if he's worried about not drawing the penalty, then don't face rub Konechny in there. And it just, and the refs, I think they bungled it a little bit. Obviously, it took like 10 minutes to figure out what's going on. And next thing you know, it was pretty comical because you had 5 guys in one box, 5 guys in the other box. But I think that kind of lit. I mean, everyone saw what he did to Konechny, and there was all kinds of chippiness going on. The Sidney Crosby, Cindy Crosby, by the way,
flopper,
the flopper, right? He's the LeBron James of hockey, and basically, and I think was it Sealer? Yeah, Sealer. I think Sealer knew what he was doing. He was kind of messing with his stick a little bit with his back turned, and I think he knew Crosby was behind him. Who was it? Oh, Hathaway. Right. It wasn't Sealer. It was Hathaway. So I think Hathaway knew what he was doing. And, he wasn't looking that way, but it got him. But it didn't get him he flops and, like LeBron goes down there. I was thinking, when Hathaway's, chirping, they should call that on Crosby of embellishment.
Yes.
That's totally embellishment. The guy's like, again, I mean, LeBron James. So, well,
I was ready to come in here with a whole rant about how this Flyers team can't get it done, and it's the same old thing with the Flyers. And we're right in the middle of the pack. We can't make the playoffs. I was like, oh no, that was 2 weeks ago. It's amazing how quickly the narrative changed around this Flyers team. Rightfully so. And the way they finished this season, they were like, hard charging. They're
the hottest team right now. And I'll tell you, so after the All-Star break, or the Olympics, I should say, I was with Lee Alexander, and we were down in spring training, and the game, we thought the game had ended. We were walking back from dinner, and sure enough, there's a bar. We could see it from the sidewalk that was showing it was about to go into overtime. So I said, Lee, let's go watch the end of this game, right? And they go to the shootout, and Flyers end up winning, right? And I'm gonna throw you under the bus, Lee. Lee said, I don't know if this is good because I'd rather have the Flyers lose and get a draft pick. It would help in the future. They're not going to make the playoffs, and it's just, this win means nothing. I said, I think I said to you, I said, Lee, no, it doesn't. That winning is all about building a culture. You got a new manager, you got a new coach, and he's going to want to set, the guys that instill this winning attitude. They got a lot of young guys. And that's very important, no matter if you make the playoffs or not. And sure enough, they win. And from that point on, they went on a serious run. And Vladar has been the goalie that we haven't had in a long time. I mean, probably since Leighton had that, good run in the playoffs. But, as far as like consistent goalie, if we, throughout the year, and someone that, we're going to have him next year. And then hopefully he's not really young, but he's not real old either. So, here's a guy we could have for the next 5 years, which helps. And now all of a sudden, you look at this team, one of the youngest teams in the NHL, and I mean, I can't say enough about Porter Martone. And if some craft brewery already is starting to work on a Martone Porter, right? Then they're crazy. So give me if you're listening out there and you do a Martone Porter, then give me some credit right there, right? Who's that? Yeah, Yingling. Come on, Dick. Maybe I'll call Dick Yingling and see if we can do that.
I mean, Vladar has etched his name in Flyers history.
It's the best.
Unlike any goalie in a long time. And this playoff run, I think it's, we do our Snow the Goalie podcast on the WBCB Sports Network, part of the Federi Digital News Network. And they've give a payroll service solutions player of the week each week to a different Flyer, and they kind of debate who gets the player of the week. Dan Vladar, week after week, was nominated pretty much every single time. He won a ton of their player of the week recognitions. And I don't know. I just think that he's going to go down like with the Hextalls and with the Bernie Perrants as far as, and this, you got to keep this run going. And right now everybody's feeling so good about this team right now.
And hopefully he's okay because he got hurt. I think it was Crosby. I don't know if that was it. Excuse me.
He'll be back. He's a hockey player.
He's a warrior. But just, last night, four guys, the first 4 guys that scored, it was all their first playoff game or goal. So every one of those guys, Ristolainen was basically Ristolainen and Kate coming back, and then Forster coming back. That was basically like picking up 2 big free agents at the end of the year.
Well, and then the first couple of games, Martone,
and then Martone's another guy. He comes in contributes right away. The first 2 playoff games, he scores a game winner in both games, and he just looks like a veteran right away. He's very confident. He's very savvy with the puck. Do you remember the play? I think it was like maybe the first game, or maybe it was one of the where he was his back. It was very Gretzky-esque, where he's looking at the boards. The puck comes in. He just literally one times it, little flick, and hits a skater like perfectly in stride, right? And he's very good in front as far as positioning his body and knowing how to, using his hands.
I mean, it's such a great sport, and there's so many like nifty little things that these guys are able to do.
Yeah, the goal he had in game 1 was unbelievable.
I feel like it's just been missing from Flyers hockey for so long that now we see these things. The sport is such a great sport, and these guys can do this stuff with the puck that is like
it's mind-blowing. Tippett, the game 2 games ago,
we've been missing
was such an effort, like one of the greatest effort goals I've ever seen, where he basically, is on the boards. 2 defensemen are coming at him. He tried. I think he said because he ended up passing to himself, but I think he said he was trying to get it to one of his teammates, but then he realized the other defenseman overcommitted, so he basically passed it to himself. Then he comes in, and he comes into the zone, comes into the or left of the slot, and he basically falls. I think someone kind of hit him, so he falls down, gets up, comes in, beats the defenseman, and then he looks like to the goalie he's going to take a shot. The goalie's all committed, the defense is committed, and he just makes a beautiful pass right to Hathaway. You would have thought Hathaway would have the big goal. Now, again, it was set up by, it was really the Tippett goal, but just phenomenal. And we're doing all this without Mishkov. Hasn't really had a big game this playoff series. At some point, Mishkov's going to have a big game.
I love a shorthanded goal. Come on,
shorthanded goal is the best, that's such a momentum killer, right? Because you think you're extra man, power play, you got the advantage, and all of a sudden when I was playing hockey, I used to love playing shorthanded because you can cheat a little bit, you can sneak, and the offense is all coming in, and if you can somehow pick off a pass in the middle, then it's breakaway material. So
great on the shorties, not a great penalty killer. Sounds like
exactly. I'm looking more offense out of the shorthanded. Well, Couturier, I was not. Put it that way. Well, and Couturier is a great story too. Here's a guy that everyone was writing him off, and he's been injured, and he ends up being a fourth line center, right? With was it Glendening and last night it was, who was it? Well, Hathaway, I guess, yes, and then who's it? Julian or Jules? I mean, he has been invaluable, obviously, with faceoffs and shorthanded, penalty killing, but he has stepped up just as far as like his hustle, his defense, his faceoff. I mean, he's been an invaluable guy right now.
All right, I'm feeling good, right? 3-0, potentially, get the brooms out, sweep out these Penguins.
I mean, it's always hard to sweep somebody.
But because the team, and there might be something to the fact that, like, if this team has a setback and then they can bounce back and beat the Penguins, there's a confidence builder in that throughout the playoffs. You saw a little adversity, able to get a Game 5 win. That might be even a better formula for this Flyers team going forward.
Well, I hope not.
But moving forward, well, as long as they get
right,
as long as they win a Game 5,
the win.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if I want to go through that stress.
No, but if they see a little adversity, they move on. I feel like there might be something with this team. The fact that they are,
I would not want to play
so hot.
If I'm Carolina, if I'm
good goaltending,
if I'm Ottawa, whoever comes out of there, or if I'm Montreal, I do not want to play the Flyers. That's the one team because they're young and what they always say, like, what do they say? They're too stupid to know. Yeah. They're too young to know any better.
They don't know what they don't know.
Right. They don't know what they don't know. And when you have a hot goalie, which Vladar is that guy, and again, you got
this guy,
and you got some young
on his head,
and you got some young guys, and that's a team you don't want to play, right? So, throw out the regular season standings, going forward, and it's good. That's the beauty of hockey too, that I think, to me, that differentiates itself from the NBA. The NBA, for the most part, you can probably guess with pretty fair with accuracy who is going to make it to the semifinals, possibly to the finals, right? It's very rare an 8 seed is not making, or playing a game is, anyone playing the playing games is not making the finals. An 8, 7, 6, 5 seed, probably not. And 4 seeds even somewhat of a long shot. It's pretty much the 1,
So
2, 3 seed.
You're not buying into this this Sixers run.
Hey, you know what? It was a great game they played, and they needed to do what they did. They had to have a unbelievable game from Edgecombe. They had to have an unbelievable game from Maxey. They had to have a bad shooting night on the Celtics part, and
13 for 50 or something.
Yeah, so it was a perfect combination, and yet it was still nip and tuck until Maxey hit that 3. So it could have turned even when everything was going right for the Sixers in.
But you're right. I don't want to get you off your point where you're talking about how a team that is a play-in team like the Sixers,
they have no shot.
Very, very
right.
low
you
odds.
Can steal a game. The Pistons are the number 1 seed, and they lost their first game. You can steal games, but you're not winning a 7-game series.
But
in the NBA, NHL you can, because again you have that hot goalie, and that can be the key differentiator. And I think right now we might have, or you could conversely have great teams who have a goalie that's their confidence rattled, or they and again I just love the fact that the future of the Flyers, no matter what happens going forward, is that that they're here because they've got guys that are young. Zegras has been a game changer for this team, and talk about unbelievable skill. The things he does, the one-timer yesterday was awesome. The passing's been unbelievable. Drysdale, now we traded him for Cutter Gauthier, who had a big goal last night in the playoffs. I think it's Anaheim, right? And automatically you think, oh man, we had to trade this future star. Well, Drysdale could be a very important. He's been very important for this run we've had, especially in the playoffs. And who knows? Maybe Drysdale. Maybe that trade is going to get evened out a little bit. So.
Well, I'm pumped up for a little Flyers action, feeling good, feeling confidence. I don't know. Sixers, not so much, but I don't know. The Sixers were the team I was following more closely.
Right.
And it's just been such a heartbreaking bunch of years for Sixers fans.
Well, just especially, the Embiid injuries just every year.
Hey, before we get into it, let's give a little bit of lay of the land here where we're at. We're at the Mount Airy Casino. We are in the poker room. Just behind us is where they do their sports gambling. They got the slot machines in the main room out here.
And I know our boy Lee is going to be out there on the floor. But you know what, Chris? I'll give you a little more info, because looking for the ultimate night out.
This place is great.
The stage is heating up at Mount Airy Casino Resort. You do not want to miss what's coming next. Looking for a laugh? The one and only Vic DiBettetto, I probably butchered that name. I saw the big advertisement when you come in. Brings his high energy comedy to the resort on May 16th. Then on June 20th, experience the flawless harmonies and legendary hits of the Eagles with 7 Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. And from classic rock to funky pop and nonstop laughs, the best entertainment in the Poconos is right here. Tickets are going fast, so head to MountAiryCasino.com to grab your tickets. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, the Eagles. I wonder who they're drafting. I wonder at the 7 Bridges if they got a draft pick lined up.
It's funny you said that, because in December,
offensive line.
In December, I went to see. There's a band called War on Drugs that are from Philadelphia. They're huge. They'll play, Red Rocks. They'll play Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
But every year they do a little mini concert, at the bar that they got their start, and it's Johnny Brenda's in Fishtown. Johnny Brenda's holds 250 people.
You can't forget where you're from.
Can't, and they don't, and it's charity. It's all goes towards charity. So they do 3 or 4 nights there, and it's unbelievable to see a band that can sell out Madison Square Garden in a tiny little venue, a bar, and their sound is very big.
How did you get a ticket?
I somehow wormed my way in there. Well, they kept saying that there's going to be a special guest, right? Now, the year before, they said rumors are Bruce Springsteen's going to show up. Bruce Springsteen did not show up. This year, it's kind of like Chicken Little. I'm like, yeah, right. Well, you know who shows up?
Britney Spears.
Joe Walsh.
Oh, wow.
Joe Walsh. And he did Rocky Mountain High. He did In the City. And then he did a War on Drugs song. The reason why I bring that up, because I had Joe Walsh came to a Phillies game back in the 90s at the Vet. And he's going to sing the national anthem. And, he's warming up. The players are on the field. They're in the dugout. And a couple of guys came up to me and said, "Hey, John, who's that right there?" I said, "Oh, that's Joe Walsh. He was with the Eagles." And they're looking at him like, "That guy played football?" Like Joe Walsh. they thought he played football. They're trying to figure out what position he played.
Well, he's getting a little social media traction because he was at the Fish show.
Oh.
They are at the Sphere.
I think they had my brother-in-law is out there.
Little residency at the Sphere right now in Las Vegas, which seems like a pretty awesome place to see a show with the graphics and everything. And Joe Walsh was in attendance at their concert, and they did a Joe Walsh song. I forget which one.
Yeah, I got to figure out what that was.
Yeah, well, check it out. It's
all right. Well,
the videos are out there. Joe Walsh and Fish.
We will look that up. All right, ready for a getaway where you can be extraordinary? Escape to the Pocono Mountains and the ultimate luxury of Mount Airy Casino Resort, Pennsylvania's first AAA 4-diamond casino resort. Whether you're looking for high-stakes thrills or luxurious relaxation, Mount Airy has it all. Hit the floor for nonstop gaming action. Feel the rush of the floor with over 1,700 slots and over 70 tables. But the excitement is just the beginning. Indulge in world-class dining, which we're going to find out tonight. Can't wait. Unwind with a tension-melting massage at our full-service spa. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow morning.
Nice.
Or relax in the luxury of our spacious and modern guest rooms. Whether you're here for the high-stakes thrills or the ultimate relaxation, your perfect escape is waiting. Find your flavor, find your luck, find your luxury at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Book your experience now at mountairycasino.com. That's mountairycasino.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we got a couple of partners helping to make our stream possible today. So let's take a quick time out and recognize some of the folks powering today's all-in show here from Mount Airy Casino, and we will get right back to our discussion. We will have Anthony Sanfilippo joining us later in the show. Tommy Green will be here talking Eagles, Sixers, Flyers,
golf.
Breaking it down.
He likes talking golf.
Tommy?
Yeah.
Well, Ben Jones also might join in that fun. And we'll talk about BCWSA Utility Services as we continue here with All In from the Mount Airy Casino. We will be right back.
Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAYEASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. BCWSA Utility Services wants to make sure you stay informed when it matters most. In rare situations like a water main break, boil water notice, or other service issues, BCWSA uses an emergency notification system to send alerts by phone, text, or email. But they can only reach you if your contact information is up to date. Visit bcwsa.net and click Update Your Contact Information to get started. BCWSA Utility Services.
Looking for the ultimate night out? The stage is heating up at Mount Airy Casino Resort, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Looking for a laugh? The one and only Vic DiPetito brings his high-energy comedy to the resort on May 16th. Then, on June 20th, experience the flawless harmonies and legendary hits of the Eagles with Seven Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. Ready for a getaway where you can be extraordinary? Escape to the Pocono Mountains and the ultimate luxury of Mount Airy Casino Resort, Pennsylvania's first triple 4-diamond casino resort. Hit the floor for nonstop gaming action, and you can feel feel the rush of the floor with over 1,700 slots and over 70 table games. Indulge in world-class dining and unwind with tension-melting massages at their full-service spa, or relax in the luxury of their spacious and modern guest rooms. Whether you're here for high-stakes thrills or the ultimate relaxation, your perfect escape is waiting for you. Find your flavor, find your luck, and find your luxury at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Book your experience now at MountAiryCasino.com. That's MountAiryCasino.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Let's get ready to rumble! It's time for All In is an exclusive presentation of 1490 WBCB, your home on the radio dial in Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer counties. We now go live to All In.
We're good. We're good.
All right.
John Brazer.
You got me a little loud there, Chris.
Look it up.
One sport we didn't talk about. We talked Sixers. We talked Flyers. We talked Phillies. By the way, the Phillies are up 1-0 on a Brandon Marsh home run. And Marsh is the one guy who's having a pretty good year. I would say very satisfactory. If you're going to get, the old fifth grade report cards, I'd give him a very satisfactory, right? Not excellent, but it'd be like a B to B plus, right?
Man, how much do you think Alec Boehm's struggles are from some of the issues that are going on
with his family
off the field?
Yeah, I mean, he's got, he's suing his parents.
I don't even know that much about it, but there were some things with like his money and different bank accounts.
Yep.
And so, yeah, he's taking legal action against his parents. That's got to be.
It can't be good. In baseball, that can affect you. I mean, you're obviously it's real life. It's your parents, your family, it's money, you're throwing all that in. And
maybe that's why he looks. Maybe that's the answer to the question I was asking
could
earlier.
Be. I mean,
how does a guy who looked like he can hit all of a sudden
just
not be able to function the same way?
It very well could be. You hope that wouldn't carry over, but they're humans, so you can't. I hope for his sake that gets rectified, because it's just not good to be disassociated with your family, obviously, and your parents. So let's hope that gets resolved. But we didn't talk about the Eagles. Now, normally
the Birds.
The funny thing is, normally in this city, that's all anybody would be talking about right now, because today is draft day.
Absolutely.
Right? The draft is in Pittsburgh, and in this city, obviously, we're a huge Eagles city. And it would be Eagles, draft, and the Flyers have kind of taken the spotlight, which rightfully so. The Sixers, by stealing that game in Boston, are now back on the map. We'll see tomorrow night when they play Game 3.
I think it's the internal stuff happening with the Eagles that has distracted so many Eagles fans. And what is going to be the fate of AJ Brown? When is this trade happening?
And then all the rumblings about Jalen Hurts.
Right. But no, I think it's the AJ thing that has distracted so many Eagles fans, and he's such a front burner issue with them.
Right.
And it seems like that, we know what's going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. And so people are
Well, it can't happen until I think. Well,
1st,
well, I mean,
second,
you
like
can
that.
trade him, right? So you could see a trade, but I think June 1st is when the salary cap hit gets lessened for the Eagles.
I think if they do it before then that cap is all on 1 year. If they do it after that date, then they can spread it out a little bit more and allow that cap hit to go over 2 separate seasons.
Right. But again,
offensive line. I want them to think to the future, think about, they say winning is boring, and offensive line is the least sexy position. It's boring. No one ever knows who these guys are, and you got to rely on the draft experts to tell you, he's got, all these great skills and ability. But I want them to be boring.
They certainly, look, 2 of the guys almost retired.
Get a tackle.
Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson almost retired. So that shows you that, you need to get some to the future. Obviously, it's got to be on their minds. And, Howie's done a real good job as far as, Jordan Mailata. When Jordan Mailata was a rugby player, and you looked at the rugby videos, I remember when we signed him, and I'm like, oh, my God, I think a lot of people thought that he was going to be like a better version of the Fridge when they put the fridge in for goal line situations.
They give them
right.
Let them run the football.
I'm still shocked that they haven't once, just put in a substitute, offensive lineman, put in Toth, put in somebody
just for funsies,
and have Jordan Mailata in the backfield. The way you saw him just bowling over people, these big guys in the Australian rules, or not Australian football, rugby, but the way they, how he's able to discover him, take a chance. Some of the ones don't, the chances don't work.
Sure.
Danny, who's the fireman, Danny whatever,
Watkins,
Danny Watkins. Like some, you throw, but Landon Dickerson was coming off an injury. Cam Jurgens, everyone's saying, why do we draft a lineman that high when we already have Kelsey and we've got a lot of other guys? But there's a lot of thought that gets put in. You're right. NFL is built around the trenches. And Howie's a big proponent of offensive line, defensive line. So I think the three big needs are edge rusher, a offensive lineman, and then we could be very well in need of a receiver if we think that A.J. Brown is going.
A safety on the defensive side of the football.
Safety was, and then you also need a tight end because, Goddard, people thought that he was going to be, done. And we need to get that young, version of Goddard. Now there's a kid out of Oregon. I think it's Siddiqui is his name. And the guy is not a big guy, but he's a guy that's fast and can obviously move, good routes. But I think he's going to be gone by the time the Eagles pick.
Yeah, that's Barrett Brooks's guy. He's been talking about that on his Birds huddle thing that he does, and saying the Eagles are going to have to move up if they want to make that happen. And because
he's probably going to go around 15, 16, somewhere around there. And Eagles, I think, are picking at 23.
All right, I think I heard this. I heard this. I'm hoping I'm relating it accurately.
Okay,
but I think there are 50 guys in the NFL Hall of Fame that were undrafted. And there are like 60 guys in the NFL Hall of Fame that were drafted from the 4 to the 7 spot. Yeah. So in those later rounds, you still can find some outstanding football players.
Jason Kelsey.
I think everybody thinks about, today you got your first round and your Mendozas and all these guys going and all the hype around that. But the draft, the teams that are successful at the draft, they get their players 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Right.
Our all-in show here, All In from Mount Airy Casino on WBCB. Sometimes we've had Paul Jolovitz host, and he does some other sports talk around the area, always with some good hot takes. And
bad jokes.
Yeah, that too. Was at one point said, Mailata might be the best 7th round draft pick ever taken. And at the time, I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to look back at all the great and the few Hall of Famers that were picked in the 7th round. Very, a select handful. But it's starting to seem
what round was Jason Kelsey?
I don't know. He was not that late around.
He was a 6th round pick? Yeah, so, I mean, that's obviously you got a guy who's could be in the Hall of Fame down the road, but certainly in the Eagles Hall of Fame.
As a 7th round pick, Jordan Mailata may end up being one of the greatest late round draft picks ever.
Certainly for the Eagles. You're saying overall?
No question. Yeah.
All right. So it looks like the Raiders are going to be
saying in the history of
the whole game. That's is that hyperbole right there?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, I think everyone knows that Mendoza is going to go first to the Raiders, and then it's really interesting that. How did Ohio State not win the national championship? They have like 5. They're going to have 5, maybe 6 guys drafted in the first round, right? So the Jets are on the clock. Now, the Jets are known for screwing up the draft, right? So whoever they pick, is going to be a bust. So, they're thinking that it's going to be this guy, David Bailey, edge rusher from Texas Tech. Now, the interesting one would be, where does Jeremiah Love? Because you talked about you got to build, on the lines. Well, Jeremiah Love is everyone's saying from out of Notre Dame, and it's interesting because Notre Dame's backup running back might be the second string running back, or I guess you can't really say second string because these guys all play, but the second running back from Notre Dame, it might be one of the
maybe you're second on the depth chart.
Second on the depth chart. That's what I meant to say. But Jeremiah Love, where does Jeremiah Love go? Could be to the Cardinals, who have the 3rd pick. Could be the Titans, because Titans might want a playmaker around Cam Ward, right? But so the Ohio State guys, Sonny Styles is the best linebacker out there, right? So they have the best edge rusher, although David Bailey again is an edge rusher, but they have Arvell Reese. Okay, so that's 2 guys could go in the top 5, right? Then they think the Browns maybe potentially take this offensive. It's pretty deep in offensive line. Monroe Freeling out of Georgia, but then Commanders might take the 3rd Ohio State guy. They arguably might have the top receiver, the first receiver picked in Carnell Tate there. And then I know the Eagles would love to get this guy. He's had injury history. Jordan Tyson is a wide receiver out of Arizona State. And then here's another Ohio State guy. Caleb Downs, the best safety. So they have the best safety, one of the best edge rushers, right? It's unbelievable how they lost.
Yeah, but they didn't have the best quarterback.
I guess they didn't have the best quarterback.
Going number 1. That's a pretty important position. And you look at how those positions are valued. Some of it's about entertainment value. I'm still picturing Jordan Mailata running that football and
I would
knocking
love to
guys
see it
down. But
if anybody, if any of you guys, Howie, if you're listening to this, we want to see it one time. Just do it in a blowout, right?
And I think the running back is going to be an explosive, awesome player. But that position is valued differently than some of the other positions. So
unless it's a game, like total game changer.
Right.
Like
because your money is all slotted in that first round.
Yep.
So you're going to be paying a running back basically what you would be paying the very top running backs in the entire game. Whereas a quarterback, you get a couple of years where he's on this rookie contract. He's not making that upper echelon kind of money. So you better make sure Love is really good and can deliver right
You're
away.
right. It's got to be like a McCaffrey. It's got to be.
He's got to step in and produce.
Right.
Otherwise, the money doesn't work out. And so it hurts running backs that are entering the draft. This guy should be. He's probably the 3rd best player, 4th best player.
Talent-wise.
I just think that NHL teams really going to have to think hard on how he relates to other running backs that are already in the league and how they might be able to, get that value from other guys and use that draft pick in a more strategic way. Get an offensive lineman, everybody.
Well, I'm looking forward to whoever's doing the I guess the commissioner will be doing.
You get a tackle.
Roger Goodell will be doing the names, right? Or no, sometimes they have guests that come out, right? They'll have a kid come out.
I think on the first night, celebrity. It's the commish.
So, but the commish is gonna have a tough time with the Penn State guard. I'm gonna test it on you.
Oh no,
you're Roger Goodell, okay? And they picked this guard from Penn State. So I want to pretend you're Roger Goodell.
The New York Giants with the 10th pick select Oliavega Inane.
Inane?
Yeah.
I had the Ione, right?
Oh, well.
Ione?
The
All
O is
right.
silent.
All right. So then we get to the 11th pick. So you're Roger Goodell.
Is that correct?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Well, yeah, I don't think you were, because my guess would be Oliavega Ione.
Okay.
All right. But now you're on the 11th pick with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins select Francis Mauigwa.
Well, if you're looking like Maui, right? Like Maui, Hawaii.
Mauigwa.
Maybe it's Mauigoa. Okay. All right. Then the 3rd in a row, Dallas Cowboys on the clock. Roger Goodell. What do we got?
Oh, Mansour Delaney.
Mansour. Say thank God you're not Roger
Sweet
Goodell.
and sour. His brother is sweet and sour.
Give me an easy one right here. The next one.
Let's see here. Ruben Bain?
No, Spencer
Jr.?
Spencer Fano.
Oh.
I guess it's Fano. And then Sadiq could be up there. But again, there's going to be there's a lot of receivers out there. Denzel Boston, Micah Lemon. And again, there's going to be a lot of offensive tackle. My guess is the Eagles go with an offensive tackle. And I think there's enough depth in the position that they might go running or wide receiver in the 2nd or 3rd round. My guess is offensive line, 1st round. I think they got 2 3rd rounders, and there'll definitely be a receiver in there. And as you said, maybe a safety. We'll say, or actually, they need an edge rusher as well. Always need edge rushers.
I just marvel at the draft experts and all the time that they spend. I mean, we used to be joined by some of the folks from Our Lad's Guide, and they would have a write-up on every single player in the draft, the grade, the skill set, the detail that they had to go into just to create this directory of players was amazing. And then for the teams, they're going to be limited now to only 8 minutes to make this choice.
They cut it from 9 minutes to 8 minutes.
Mel Kiper, history of the franchise.
Mel Kiper made his career out of that, right?
Oh yeah.
Didn't Mel Kiper?
He was like the originator.
OG. He made his career out of that, and then you have Adam Schechter and then Mike Mayock and other people that are coming in. All right, as I mentioned tonight, Chris, you're not going to be here, are you? You're not staying around for dinner.
Nah, I got to head out.
All right.
I'm going to miss it.
So ready to treat your taste buds to something truly special at Mount Airy Casino Resort. World-class dining is always just steps away from the action. Start your culinary journey with the ultimate variety.
I'm going to be at White Castle.
You're going to be at the it's going to be a little less than this at the buffet. Dive into the bold, fresh flavors of Lucky 8 Noodle and Sushi Bar, or grab a legendary bite at Guy Fieri's Mt Pocono Kitchen. Looking to elevate your evening, indulge in prime steaks and handcrafted pasta at the award-winning Bistecca by El Molino. That's where we're going tonight. So I'm going to hopefully be hungry when I get in there and get myself a big steak. Hopefully there's going to be a little oysters on a half shell.
It's like prior to the show, I'm asked, do you want to stay? Do you want to go? And I look at my schedule and I try to say, I'm not sure.
You've never turned down a free meal, and you're really going to turn this away?
Well, but I make my decision, and then I come out here and I hear about.
Now you want to stay.
Man, that was a mistake.
Well, if you need a quick pick me up, stop by Cafe Motto for a premium coffee. I'm going to do that tomorrow morning, and a fresh pastry to keep you fueled and ready for the floor. From casual bites to 5-star feasts, find your flavor at Pennsylvania's premier AAA 4-diamond resort. Explore all our dining options at MountAiryCasino.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, I'm getting back down to catch the Sixers tonight.
They're not tonight, are they?
What?
I thought they were tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
Sixers? No, I think Sixers are tomorrow night.
All right. Well,
tonight's a draft. They don't do anything to oppose the draft.
Let Lee know I'm staying then.
The Sixers play Friday night.
I don't want to have a mistake.
Friday night, 7 o'clock. So is that where you're getting back for the Sixers game?
No.
Right. All right, Lee, add him to it. Fighting Phil's just got out of a bases loaded situation. The Cubs did tie it up on a Dansby Swanson. I believe it was an RBI. So it's 1-1, third inning. So we'll keep an eye on that. Keep you posted on that. All right, Chris, what is coming up? Where I know Ben Jones is going to be coming on. At what point?
Yeah, we'll have Ben Jones, I think around 3:30.
Okay.
We've got Anthony Sanfilippo, I think maybe 3:45. Maybe he'll be around 4 o'clock. And that's also, we're going to be joined by Tommy Green
live
at that point, talking more Phillies baseball and some golf.
Yes, he likes. I just golfed with Tommy and Ben Davis on Monday. We went to Glen Mills, and Ben, Ben's like the mayor of that area. In fact, they call him Ben Mills, right? If he's golfing at Glen Mills, it was fun. Those guys are two big hitters. I can hit it pretty good, but those two just bomb the ball. Like if we're all hitting it, if we all have a good tee shot, I'm behind them by about 20, 30 yards. So
I'm a chip and putter at my best.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a mini golf expert. So here at the Mount Airy Casino Resort and Spa, and as you said, having some dinner a little later on, and maybe Lee will be doing some gaming. Everybody kind of hanging out.
He likes it. He likes the game Let It Ride. He tried explaining to me last year.
3-card poker, I think.
Yes, it is. Well, that's basically Let It Ride, I think. There's some poker variation, and he was trying to explain it to me, and I was getting it, but I think I think you've got to sit down at the table and actually gamble, because then you're fully vested to understand, the machinations of the games, So, although sometimes I'll sit at the not roulette, at the craps, and I know how to bet with the roller or bet against the roller, but then there's all these side bets that people put down, for the double fours or whatever.
I don't know what's going on. I mean, the poker room, I love that, and I'm pretty good at poker when you can see the two cards that everybody has, like on TV.
Yeah.
But here,
when
it's a little more challenging.
Well, yeah, when you can see it on TV.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're cheating right there.
Well,
why don't you get those special glasses that can see inside the cards, so you know where you stand?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they'll probably ban them at casinos. I'm guessing.
I would guess so.
Yeah,
I would guess so.
Do they make those glasses, by the way?
I don't know. I'm looking them up. They used to be in the back of the comic book.
Yes.
Your X-ray specs.
Yeah, with the sea monkeys.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what sport do you want to go next? You want to?
Well, let's step aside. Let's take care of a couple of things. We got some community partners helping to power our stream today. We appreciate that. And we'll be back. I want to kick around the Sixers a little bit,
okay,
and get into some NBA playoffs before Ben Jones comes out, and probably then we'll swing back into some Phillies draft stuff. And as we said, the Phillies Eagles draft. Exactly. 7 Bridges making the picks. All in here on WBCB.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAY-EASY. Payroll Service Solutions.
Hey, WBCB listeners, it's Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Reliable water service doesn't happen by accident. It takes ongoing investments to help deliver clean water and manage wastewater every day. BCWSA Utility Services continues to upgrade and modernize its treatment facilities to strengthen infrastructure throughout Bucks County. These improvements help ensure safe, dependable service for families, businesses, and communities. Learn more about BCWSA's investments at bcwsa.net. BCWSA Utility Services.
All right, BCWSA Utility Services helping to make our all-in possible here from Mount Airy Casino Spa Resort here in the Poconos. Chris Ermer hanging out with John Brazer.
Hey, Chris, we got to plan this a little better. And I mean, maybe I got to talk to Lee that every year I come down here. It's a beautiful drive, and it's an easy drive from where I live. And you pull in and you look at the golf course, and it looks awesome. You got pretty cool water holes. It's got some elevation. And every year I say this on the air, I say, can we come up that morning or even come in the day before and get up in the morning and golf? Because you look at that course, it looks like an unbelievable course. I got to play it at some point, and I'm here every year. So, yeah. So, what are you saying? Are you going to golf with us?
I guess so.
All right. Lee, make it happen for next year. He did the exact same thing last time. All right. Got to make sure he gets on it. All right. Sixers.
Well, I don't even look at the golf course. I just overlook the view, and it is stunning here up in the mountains, and just you see for miles and miles.
Yep.
Beautiful day like this. Great opportunity. Like you said, an easy drive. And
very easy drive. All right, Sixers. So as we mentioned earlier, I think everyone's counting them out. The spread was 14.5 coming into the game on Tuesday night. You got Joel Embiid obviously out. Who knows if he's ever going to be, even if we somehow advance past the Celtics, is he going to be able to come back for the next series?
No way. Have you ever, I've had appendectomy surgery. Now, I don't know. I think probably he got like the laparoscopic where the incision isn't as big. And for some reason they had to go in and slice me up old school.
Right.
But the recovery is not like easy.
Yeah, that's pretty major.
I mean, they have you up and walking around right away, but you're not playing basketball.
No.
I mean,
especially NBA playoff basketball.
That's just no way.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, so they needed on Tuesday night, obviously with being 14.5-point underdogs, they needed everything to go right and everything to go wrong for Boston. I mean, let's face it, Boston has got an unbelievable lineup. I mean, you got Jason Tatum, who, unfortunately, the Sixers, and I said this during the draft, Tatum, I saw him a lot at Duke because I went to UVA, and I'm a big UVA fan, and I can't stand Duke. But Tatum just beat up everybody in the ACC that year. And then Brown, I think the same thing. I think we passed on Brown as well. I think the Tatum was Fultz, right? That was the Fultz draft, right? And then Jaylen Brown, I think we also passed on him. So now they've got Tatum, Brown. They also have Sam Hauser, who went to UVA. So I watched him.
You talked about what the Sixers need, and they need everybody to be pulling in the right direction. They need everybody
somehow go back in time and redraft.
No, they need Paul George to be Paul George from 5 years ago.
Well, he gave us a good, he was on his way there on Tuesday night because Paul George went 7 for 13, 2 for 5 from 3 points, 4 rebounds, so he had 19 points, and that's you're saying the Paul George where he scores 33 points and takes over the game.
Yes.
Right. And we got guys that can
maybe that's a thing of the past, but just as a Sixers fan, with bringing Paul George in with this team,
right,
has been consistently disappointing to me, whether it's an injury,
right,
his crazy suspension this year, which is like, I really needed to be out 25 games.
Right.
Outrageous to say that. But then when he's on the floor, I just feel like he's a shadow of his former self, and he's not living up to the billing, and it's driving me nuts.
Well, he's also getting max contract, so you better, live up to that.
Right, I keep feeling like he's going to do it. He doesn't do it.
By the way, my assistant league just handed this to me. I knew they passed on Jaylen Brown, but it was Ben Simmons who was picked first. Now, everyone thought that Ben Simmons was the best player, although it was interesting that, here's this guy that picked number 1. And LSU had a losing record that year. And he played 1 year and he couldn't shoot. So you're picking a guy that played on a team, looking back on it. Again, all the experts said Ben Simmons. But
I mean, one of the greatest smoke screens of all time in the world of sports, that people thought this guy was going to be so good because he never showed it really at any level. He never was a consistent
he's
winner
always bigger.
In college.
He's always bigger than everybody. And he's very athletic.
Okay.
And he got away with it. But especially in the playoffs, that you got to tempt him to shoot, right? Put him in a situation where he has to shoot.
I mean, the other thing
or get him to the free throw line. He can't shoot at the free throws. But the Celtics go ahead and they picked up Jaylen Brown with that 3rd pick. So again, those 2 drafts where we could have had Tatum and we could be with Tatum and Brown instead of Fultz and Simmons. Imagine, look, if you think about that, right? But that's where all the experts have no clue. But back to the current team, we needed the Sixers to, again, the superstars to have the big moments. So, and we did. Maxey, it's a shame too, because, the good news is the Sixers have 2 young guards that are, that are world beaters that, right, like Edgecombe is playing way above what anybody could have expected out of a rookie, right?
It's one of the things that is very bothersome about this Sixers team because in not only this year, I'm saying, John, not only can you
going
point,
forward, right,
but in the past, you could say, oh, wow, they have these elements which are so good. Isn't it a shame that they couldn't have the other parts of the whole together at the same time going into the playoffs? And as a Sixers fan, I keep thinking when it's all together, it's going to be great. And then it never is able to gel and solidify.
I was debating with a friend of mine not too long ago that, let's say Embiid, let's say he didn't have an appendectomy. Let's say he came back and he's healthy. Okay. So let's say he comes back, tomorrow night to play. So would that necessarily make the team better? Because Embiid obviously is a superstar, but to me, what the Sixers need, if there's a wish list, if they had a big man, Embiid plays, he plays on the perimeter, right? So our big man plays on the perimeter. Our two stars are perimeter guys, right? 3 guys, really.
Man, he is so frustrating because he plays on the perimeter, especially when he's not in shape and he's just getting back into action, and he hasn't played a lot of NBA basketball. And then slowly, as his game evolves, you see him start to be a little bit more of a rim protector and be able to play inside.
And that's what they need, because if they had, again, in the perfect world, if they had a down low center who is a scorer, rebounder, right, big man, if they had that guy, to go with Edgecombe, Maxey, and then George, whatever you're getting out of George is gravy. Whatever you're getting out of Oubre is gravy. Whatever you're getting out of Grimes, whoever, Edwards, whoever else can contribute. But if all of a sudden you have that big down low, like the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar type, you know what I mean? Like the banger who can, and then all of a sudden, they got it. They're not going to be able to cover that or cover the outside. So then it opens up Edgecombe, opens up Maxey. Now, especially with Embiid gone, but even when Embiid was here, they can still, cover the outside pretty easily.
Yeah, but to answer your question, and one of the things that is, again, so frustrating about the Embiid era, would they be better if he was on the floor?
I'm not even
sure.
Yes,
they would.
They
yes,
would.
They absolutely
But it would also be
would.
but it also
this
affects.
Guy is one of the elite shooters that I've ever seen wear
Embiid.
a Sixers uniform. Yes. Yes. I mean, his touch is amazing. Even if he is even if he's not doing what a typical big man can do, his skill set is elite.
It is. But if Embiid's on the floor and then the offense revolves around Embiid,
I hear you.
That lessens the impact of Edgecombe.
Right.
That lessens the impact of Maxey. And if Embiid is having a bad shooting night, then you're dependent on that.
Yeah.
So yes, he is the most dynamic player on the court, but it can also backfire, because it can also. That's what I'm saying. I wish I'd rather have, instead of that best player on the court, guy who can shoot from outside, 7 foot, whatever. I'd rather have the guy who's getting 16 points and can bang it consistent 16 points, getting 10 rebounds, and being a threat down low. So then that opens up the outside. I'd rather have that than this mercurial superstar that, I
say, okay, Grandpa, because that's like the way the game was played back in the ancient times.
It is, but
you're not wrong. I'm not, but I just think that's the NBA now. Typically, you don't have that post presence big guy in there. I mean, Andre Drummond's almost performing some of those roles, but on the defensive side, like I don't see him as a, he's not a post presence on the offensive side of the ball, but he does a good job inside for this team.
I went to the last game of the regular season. It was a Sunday. Played Orlando, was it? No, can't remember who they played against. But it was Matt Cord's last regular season game, and Matt's wife got T-shirts made for a lot of his friends and family, and we all had the T-shirts on. It's a really cool T-shirt, and it was. Matt Cord.
Did it have like a saying or something, or like?
Well, it had Matt, like it had a really cool picture of Matt like holding the mic, because he he likes to emote when he's on the mic, and he's holding like this, and he's probably doing Embiid, and he's on the back. It was something about Matt Cord, and so I was thinking about some of his cool moments, and he's been doing it for 28 years. You forget how long he's been doing it, and he was a long time announcer for the Wings, so he brought his wing style to the Sixers, and the Wings. He would have a lot of fun. That's where he started the trend of, if the Buffalo Bandits would score a goal, he'd be like,
Bandit
goal, and then it would go, and then some of his favorite stories that he told me is one time Allen Iverson asked if he could. Said, hey man, can you make me 6'2"? He's like, okay. So he gets up there and he's like, and now
he was lucky to be 6 foot.
Starting guard from Georgetown, 6'2", Allen Iverson. And everyone's looking, all the teammates are on the bench going, 6'2"? He's not 6'2". So after the game, Eric Snow went up to him and said, "Hey, man, can you make me 6'5"? He's like, and finally, the Allen Iverson said, "Don't worry about it anymore." The other one is he's got video. He's got 3 of them. He's got video of Steph Curry at the table when Matt is doing the starting lineups, and Steph Curry's just got his arms crossed, and he's looking down with a smile on his face, looking down, because Matt gets down there, he does all these things, and he's like, all over the place. And that went viral. The best one though was Karl Malone. Karl Malone in his prime,
the mailman.
The mailman. Matt has like the 5 guys on cards, right? Card. Well, I guess he has them stapled, right? So he doesn't let them fly all over the place. So he does the first guy for the Jazz, does the second guy, does the third guy, does Stockton, right? And the Stockton card, the staple caught onto the Karl Malone card. And so when he flipped over, there was no card. It was stuck to the Stockton card. So Matt had a decision to make. Does he just improvise on Karl Malone, or does he just bag it? And he bagged it. And so then he moves on to the Sixers. He does the whole announcement. And then once he does that, the lights come on, right? And there's a little bit of time before they start the game. And Karl Malone comes out of the table. He's like, he finds out where the PA announcer is and finds that Matt's the guy. He says, "Are you the PA announcer?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me introduce myself. I'm a 10-time All-Star, 4-time Olympian, 10-time All-World, blah, 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 blah. Karl Mailman Malone." He's like, hey, he's like, sorry, Karl. I have cards, and I had you're the last one, and it was caught in a staple, and I didn't see. He's like, "So you're telling me a staple caused you to not read my name?" He's like, "Yeah, I guess I am."
Yeah.
He's like, "I know you got it in you. So the next time they came into town, Karl Malone comes out to him. Matt did the whole thing. He goes, "I knew you had it in you." So I told him that. So kudos to Matt Cord, an unbelievable career, 28 years. So how about that?
Yes.
And we've been blessed. If you think about the PA announcers,
somehow I feel like you got off track because I think you were going to be talking about the Sixers.
Well, I was with Matt Cord, but I want to talk about it in general. So think about it, we are pretty blessed with PA announcers because Dan Baker has been doing. Well, he did the Eagles for all those years, and he's done these. I think right now he's the longest tenured PA announcer. Now the Yankees guy got out a couple of years, so he's the longest tenured PA announcer. And then you had Matt Cord, and then you go to the announcers end.
Lou Nolan.
And Lou Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Lou Nolan's been there for 30 plus years, for 35 plus years. And Lou's the best.
Dan Baker's still salty he's not doing the Eagles.
Maybe, yeah. But also, speaking of the Flyers, has a sponsor ever benefited as much as Pico Energy? Because it's synonymous with Pico Power Play. But then you go to the announcers from all the teams, listen to the Flyers games on radio. Tim Saunders has been there for years, and he's got that distinctive, "It scores." He's got that, goal, whatever. He goes out high. Obviously Merrill Reese. Then you go Fransky, LA, and then you got Tom McGinnis. Like, we have literally legends in all those arenas.
Yes.
Stadiums, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Did I distract you?
No.
Like going off on broadcasters and PA announcers? So, but yeah, Sixers play tomorrow night. It'll be in Philadelphia. There's a block party today.
See, Lee thought it was tonight too.
No, it's tomorrow night.
Right.
I think people are scared to take on the draft in Philadelphia. So, but yes, tomorrow night. And then it's going to be a great weekend in Philly because you got the Sixers on Friday. You got the Flyers on Saturday. And I believe you got the Sixers again on Sunday. So a action-packed down at the ballpark. The Phillies are away. Phillies down. By the way, are down 4-1 with 4-2. They're 4-2. They haven't updated the ticker there.
So, are you going down to any of those games? Which team do you feel like? Which building? Which atmosphere has the
Flyers?
most?
I mean, the Flyers right now are just. I wish I was going to. I wish I went to the game.
Compared to the Phillies.
Oh yeah, right now.
I'm talking about postseason. I'm talking about
postseason.
Yes.
I mean, I'm biased because I experienced all those postseason games with the Phillies and the energy. I'll never forget when Rhys Hoskins hit the home run our first playoff game series since 2011. And remember, Strider's on the mound. Rhys Hoskins gets at the bat, hits the home run. He does a bat drop. That stadium was as bad as loud as it's ever been. And then obviously Bryce Harper hitting the home run against San Diego. That same thing. The stadium was shaking. I mean, it's just the memories there. But I got to tell you, for those that said they were at the game last night, they're and similar to the Phillies. Phillies hadn't been in the playoffs again since 2011. So when they finally broke through in 2022, that's a long time. And fans were there's such pent up energy, similar to, again, last night or the first game, is Flyers fans hadn't experienced playoffs in years, right?
Yeah.
Years. I think it was 2000. What was the last home playoff game?
2016. I think it was their last win.
Right. So 10 years ago. And sure enough, that it was ready to explode, and they did. And they, they get down 1-0, but then they fought back, and just again, the energy in that building, they say, was unbelievable. By the way, have you seen the video of Gritty? Have you seen that?
No.
All right. When we take a break, I'm going to show you the video.
Which video?
So Gritty last night, only in Philadelphia, they show him up in the in the stands at the front of the concourse, when you go into the tunnel.
Okay.
Tunnel that goes into the concourse. It was kind of the second level, and they see Gritty up there, and you see, and he's got like a bad penguin mascot. It's almost like a doll, right? Tall doll, and he's pummeling the doll, and he takes him into. You can't see it like from the fan vision, arena vision, and he's just pummeling. You can see him like his arm like this, and then he comes out. He's like, oh. Then he just does more. Then he's dancing, does more. Then he grabs the thing, shakes it, and he throws it down into the lower bowl. Throws it to the penguin. So, I'm not sure if that's, if you're trying to teach a lesson to your kids, but who cares? It's the Flyers, right? So I'm sure they're getting some complaints. You can't do that. You're showing violence, and come on, it's the Flyers. It's playoffs, and all rules are out. And if you're embarrassed or ashamed or think it's a bad lesson, then go watch it from your couch.
It's been a while since the Fanatic has gotten violent. Years ago, I think he used to have
Tom Lasorda got violent on the Fanatic. That was the best. Yes, and trying to think. The Fanatic did. He was super Fanatic one time, and he had like the tights and the mask and the whole deal. He was super Fanatic. And the funny thing on that one was,
wait, did he punch someone?
He didn't punch somebody, but he's going to be a superhero. But the funny thing on this one was, we had a stage where the super Fanatic was going to be ready in the right field tunnel, right? And the real Fanatic is out getting dropped by a helicopter, right? Rappelling from a helicopter in the parking lot of the old Holiday Inn. So what was going to happen is, the Fanatic was going to repel the helicopter. All the fans are going to see it from the stands, and he's going to repel. And once he gets below the building, right, super Fanatic was going to be running out from right field. So it's going to be like the Fanatic got from the parking lot to the right field corner and got changed and came out in a second, right? But what had happened was, the super Fanatic got the signal too quickly.
What had happened was
the super Fanatic got the signal too quickly. Someone made them say go, go, go when it was still showing. I was in the stands, and there was an 8-year-old kid or 6-year-old kid behind me. To his dad, he goes, "I'm so confused," because he's seeing two Fanatics at the same time. So yeah, sometimes things go awry.
I mean, did the Fanatic have like time in the military? He's rappelling from a helicopter.
It sounds Fanatic is a good athlete.
Has he worked with first responders or something? That sounds a little risky for the Fanatic. Hey, since you're not doing the fun and games anymore, how come they've taken all the fun out of the Phillies? And like now, all these games stink.
Are you trying to say that my leaving the Phillies, because my title was director of fun and games, is causing the Phillies not to have fun anymore? Or have competitive games that you're ensuing?
That's what implying? I'm saying. That's
you kind of have a point.
It might be a coincidence, but
could be it's probably a coincidence.
There could be a correlation.
I know Lee Alexander said it's the curse of Harry the K.
They could be
that that when they turned Harry the K into to Ghost Energy, that maybe it's the curse of Harry the K. But they're going to blame it on somebody, right? And I'm glad nobody's brought that up, what you just said about me, that it hasn't hit local talk radio for the most part. So I'm hoping they don't, because I don't want people blaming me for the fall of the Phils.
I mean, they don't even have a BOGO, right? With the hot dog. Used to have the buy one, get one.
I guess they do, still do.
Yeah, but it's buy one, get one.
No, it used to be it used to be dollar
or something.
Well, it used to be dollar dog, and then what would happen is guys, people would buy like 10 dogs and throw 4 of them.
Yeah.
And then it became, not such a family friendly event.
Oh.
And then it was just kind of then the cleanup crew, it was a nightmare. And so it was some bad apple. Remember, there's one game that kind of,
I would say from a fan perspective, always seemed like those promotions help to fill the building.
They do, but then
fill the building, and then
no, it wasn't that. It was more of a safety
change.
Not safety. We were getting tons of complaints from fans that were getting hit in their mom or their kids getting hit with a hot dog, and so they did BOGO, which is buy one get one. So yeah. Also, the lines were out of control for dollar dogs. Literally, they'd be stretched all around the building, and so people were complaining that people that were in line for other things, had to stand in a line that was too long.
Well, it is not as much fun to go to Phillies baseball this year.
I'm not there. I'm usually telling bad jokes and other things.
Something.
Yeah. I guess I did have some karmic effect on it.
You were the good luck charm.
I guess. I don't know.
Because you were there in 2008, right?
Well, I started in 1994.
Yeah.
So for a long time, I was the longest tenured employee not to make the playoffs, because I went from 94. I got there right after 93 season, 94, and then that went to 2007 when we made the playoffs. So in that span, people were blaming me for the lack of making the playoffs.
I mean, up years, down years, but you look across that era of Phillies baseball compared to Phillies history.
Yep.
And I was looking at something. I think the Phillies right now are like 1,100 games below 500 as a franchise.
Yeah.
So the Phillies would have to win every single game over the next 6 seasons in order to just get back to a 500 record. And those stupid Yankees are like 2,400 games over 500.
Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it's funny you said that, because I actually did the math for me. So again, I started in 1994, and I worked through last year, so 33 seasons, right? The record for the Phillies, I can't really say my record because I didn't do anything with it, but the Phillies record at the time when I was employed, we were 2,581 wins and 2,535 losses, right? So I was 46 games over 500. Now,
again, you look at Phillies history, that's not, that's not overwhelming numbers, not overwhelming winning or success,
right.
But it's a winning record for this Phillies team. And also you got a World Series thrown into that period.
And I've got 2 national championship rings as well. You get a ring if you win the NL pennant. You get a pennant ring.
Gotcha.
So, but again, all those games that I was over 500, if I'd stayed this year, right? All of a sudden I'm starting to panic that, if this year was my last year and I was still there, then all of a sudden I might, I could be in jeopardy of losing that 500 record. So
you can't lose your status.
Can't lose that status. So so got out. All right. Let me tell you a little bit. We mentioned that we were at the Mount Airy Casino and Resort looking for the ultimate night out. The stage is heating up at Mount Airy Casino Resort, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Looking for a laugh? The one and only Vic Benedetto brings his high-energy comedy to the resort on May 16th. Then on June 20th, experience the flawless harmonies and legendary hits of the Eagles with 7 Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. From classic rock to funky pop and nonstop laughs, the best entertainment in the Poconos is right here. Tickets are going fast, so head to MountAiryCasino.com to grab yours today. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Would love to see the Eagles tribute up there. I got up here. When's that happening?
That is May 16th. But let me ask you a question. Why? No. Vic DiBitetto is May 16th. June 20th is 7 Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. Now, why? It's a stupid question because I'm an Eagles fan, both the band and the team. But Seven Bridges, I'm missing the point.
Seven Bridges Road, I think, is
was
one
there
of
a
their
song?
songs. Yeah.
Seven Bridges? Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, that is a song. I think the Eagles covered it. Seven Bridges Road.
I didn't know that.
I think that's what it's referring
Usually
to.
when a cover band has a song, it's, do they go into the deep cuts?
No.
With a name? It's usually, kind of synonymous.
Unless it's a Grateful Dead band, and then.
Well, I would know the deep cuts there. I saw the Grateful Dead band on Monday. Dogs in a Pile performed all Grateful Dead songs on 420. And the song that I wrote, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. I have a song that came out last Friday. It's called Mr. Herb by the Mod Beats. You can get it on Spotify, Apple, anywhere. I wrote the lyrics. The band got released on Friday, and it's being played on local radio shows. Wow. It's been played across the country. And get out there and help out the Spotify streaming to maybe force my real retirement.
For the Mod Beats.
The Mod Beats. Mr. Herb.
I wish we had rights to that music.
Basically, it would be.
I guess if you wrote it, can we play? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I have the rights to it. I think we can.
I don't know.
Can we? Well, how do we play it though? Through the.
Yeah, I got to work that out too.
All right. Yeah. Now the theme of the song. If you pictured Donald Sutherland in Animal House,
right?
Remember, he was kind of the hippie, kind of bohemian, partying
tweed
college professor, right?
Yes.
And that's Mr. Herb right there.
Oh.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, well, I got fortunate with all the things moving around down in South Philly that Florence and the Florence and the Machine show moved to Atlantic City. They were scheduled to play Saturday.
Okay.
I think at the the Xfinity Center, and because of the Flyers and the Sixers, I guess they were asked to change the venue.
Yeah.
So they ended up moving down to Atlantic City. So
are you going to go see him in Atlantic City?
Yeah. Yeah. So
where are they playing?
At Boardwalk Hall.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So that's Saturday. But, basically everyone had a ticket. I think they got refunded their money. And so they didn't second ticket.
Yeah, I guess you have to. You can't transfer the ticket somewhere else. All right, Chris, also ready for a getaway where you can be extraordinary. See how they did that?
Yeah.
Escape to the Pocono Mountains, the ultimate luxury of Mount Airy Casino Resort.
That's pretty good.
Pennsylvania's first AAA 4-diamond casino resort. Whether you're looking for high-stakes thrills or luxurious relaxation, Mount Airy has it all. Hit the floor for nonstop gaming action. Feel the rush of the floor with over 1,700 slots and over 70 table games. We'll be hitting them tonight. But the excitement is just the beginning. Indulge in world-class dining, unwind with a tension-melting massage at our full-service spa, or relax in the luxury of our spacious and modern guest rooms. Whether you're here for the high-stakes thrills and the ultimate relaxation, your perfect escape is waiting. Find your flavor, find your luck, find your luxury at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Book your experience now at mountairy.com. That's mountairy.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, let's regroup here and take care of a couple of quick messages and return with Ben Jones coming on from BCWSA Utility Services here for our All-In show.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Payroll Service Solutions was established in 2001 to cater to the payroll needs of small to medium-sized businesses. Payroll Service Solutions offers unparalleled customer service while they deliver a complete and accurate payroll. When calling Payroll Service Solutions, you will never be put into a voicemail or go through a series of prompts to get to a person. All customer service representatives are extensively trained to handle all of your payroll needs, therefore saving you time. They value each and every one of their clients. No account is too small. Call Payroll Service Solutions today at 1-866-PAY-EASY for a no-obligation review of your payroll needs. That number again is 1-866-PAY-EASY. P-A-Y-E-A-S-Y. Payroll Service Solutions.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. As the weather warms up, BCWSA Utility Services reminds you to be mindful of water use. Water lawns early in the morning or later in the evening to reduce evaporation. Fix leaky outdoor faucets and use a broom instead of a hose to clean driveways and sidewalks. A few simple changes can help conserve water all season. Visit bcwsa.net for more seasonal water-saving tips. BCWSA Utility Services.
Looking for the ultimate night out? The stage is heating up at Mount Airy Casino Resort, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Looking for a laugh? The one and only Vic DiPetito brings his high-energy comedy to the resort on May 16th. Then, on June 20th, experience the flawless harmonies and legendary hits of the Eagles with Seven Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. Ready for a getaway where you can be extraordinary? Escape to the Pocono Mountains and the ultimate luxury of Mount Airy Casino Resort, Pennsylvania's first triple four-diamond casino resort. Hit the floor for non-stop gaming action, and you can feel the rush of the floor with over 1,700 slots and over 70 table games. Indulge in world-class dining and unwind with tension-melting massages at their full-service spa, or relax in the luxury of their spacious and modern guest rooms. Whether you're here for high-stakes thrills or the ultimate relaxation, your perfect escape is waiting for you. Find your flavor, find your luck, and find your luxury at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Book your experience now at MountAiryCasino.com. That's MountAiryCasino.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're going to take us, right?
Back here at Mount Airy Casino Resort Lodge, we got Ben Jones with us, CEO of BCWSA Utility Services. Welcome.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Welcome,
How you doing?
welcome. Doing pretty good.
It's an annual tradition there, Ben.
Which is?
Having you here.
Oh, okay.
Coming here to this awesome resort. But we were talking earlier, while we were talking off the air about golf.
Right.
And my complaint about an hour ago was, every time I've come here, I pull up and I see the golfers on the golf course, and it's been beautiful days, the days we come up here. And I wonder why we don't play golf. We got to time this a little better. So Lee has promised, he's promised us that next year we're either going to come up the night before, get up in the morning, play golf, then do the show, or we just get up here early in the morning, play golf, do the show.
Okay.
Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in. Absolutely.
All right.
I love the facility. I mean, obviously their golf course is really cool because it's all on the hill and all.
Right.
I'm sure it won't do anything for my game, but
right.
It'll be
and
fun.
The water looks like a lot of water from what I see.
Yeah.
Right.
And not so much sand though.
Okay.
Wasn't too much.
Yeah. You know what's funny now that I think about it? I played Monday and I didn't hit one sand trap. I'm usually like, put it this way, I played Oakmont 3 years ago with Tommy and Mickey Morandini, and I think I hit at least one sand trap on 16 of the 18 holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
that's me. That's my game.
Yeah, me too.
I'm starting to get better though.
Yeah, I'm getting there too.
There's a method to that madness.
Yeah.
So.
How's everything going with work?
Things are going well, actually. Yeah, we just went through a new rebranding. BCWSA Utility Services. Basically, wanted to make sure that in the rebranding that we actually were able to encompass all of the things that we actually do. There's always the focus on just the water and the sanitary services, but the construction services and the turnkey operations that we offer for anything from the homeowners associations to municipal entities. So, I mean, municipal entity that's doing their own system, but isn't quite that large, may have to hire a certain amount of people with licensed operators and all. We can go in there and do those services for them with our people and licensed professionals, our equipment. We can even do the billing and the management, capital planning, things of that nature. So we can do the whole thing and just essentially write a check back to them.
Great.
So in your township up in Lower Gwinnett, that's exactly what we do.
Okay.
And we actually saved them about $600,000 to $800,000. That was 10 years ago.
Yep.
So yeah,
great.
It worked out to be a positive thing for them, and it was a good thing for us and our customer base.
And now you're gonna have a lot of pools that are opening up right now at this time, right? Now it's between now and Memorial Day, I guess, right?
Yeah. I think you'll probably see a lot more toward Memorial Day. I mean, when you see temperature swings like we're seeing right now.
We're seeing big swings.
Yeah, when it's like 32 at night and you have to worry about what's freezing, I'm not sure people are going to be opening their pools.
Right, exactly right. All right, so Ben, what do you think so far? Chris and I have been on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we're talking about you can't say there's a lack of excitement in Philadelphia good and bad.
Yeah.
We go with the good, really good is that this Flyers team has absolutely captured the city. And it's really amazing because you were down with us. We were talking earlier that, when we were in spring training, they had just got back from, the Olympic break, and Lee Alexander and I stopped at a restaurant and watched where you ate pizza. And we watched the end of the Flyers game. It was a shootout, and they ended up winning.
Right.
And then from that point on, they just went gangbusters with the hottest team in hockey. And then right now, it has just completely captured the city where, all the young guys that have just been on fire, and just the excitement in the games, and the, winning the first 2 games in Pittsburgh, and, being down 1-0 last night in Philadelphia, and then storming back and scoring 3 goals in the second period. Seeing guys like Tippett, and seeing, we didn't even talk about the Noah Cates goal was how fast were his hands. He basically went from backhand to forehand to flip it out into the net in a millisecond.
I mean, that goes back to my point that, like, these are things that happen every night on an NHL ice surface. And just as Flyers, as Philadelphia sports fans, we haven't really been interested in what's been going on there as much. I mean, the hardcore hockey guys, no question.
Yep.
And I think those fans also, they like to watch not just the Flyers, but they watch the entire league.
I've been watching a lot of the playoffs. And it's been some great playoff games, a lot of overtime games. But yes,
I'm starting to, check it out more, and, try to see what, take the temperature of this NHL playoff situation, this moment that the Flyers are in. But you talk about the quick hands and all the nifty stuff. It's like, this sport is like chock full of amazing moments.
And in playoff hockey, there's nothing more exciting, but also nothing more nerve-wracking than an overtime game with a team that you care about in playoff hockey is excruciation, right? Because it's usually a deflection that's the winning goal, a tip in, a deflection in front from the shot from the point. It's usually kind of a fluky type goal.
Yeah,
rarely do you get like a goal like Porter Martone made, where he just made that circle around and fires the puck in, or you get a clean, shot or a breakaway. It's usually, again, a tip in.
This is great for the city, though. I mean, we've been having a tough season. I mean, the Phils have been struggling, and
to say the least.
And the bottom line is, a lot of folks are obviously really down at the moment. We just came off a bad season from the Eagles.
Yep.
And 76ers, well, they're holding their own.
Right when they thought they were down, right?
Everyone's.
Really, we were talking. They were 14.5-point underdogs going into Game 2 at Boston. And then people are making the comparison. Look, here's the difference between the Celtics and the Sixers. That we drafted Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons. They drafted Jason Tatum, instead of Markelle Fultz, or we drafted Markelle Fultz then Tatum.
Right.
And then again Simmons. They get Jaylen Brown, and their 2 superstars are Jaylen Brown and Tatum. So we're almost cursed by that. But yes, we came back and we did what we needed to do. By Edgecombe, who's playing, my God, that guy is so good. I mean, I don't even know if there's a ceiling. He hasn't even hit his ceiling. The kid's young, right? And it's just could be more exciting.
I mean,
I think
all
that's
that said,
yeah.
I'm as depressed about the Sixers as I've ever been. I mean, a big win the other day, and maybe they could eke out this. I mean, they can't beat the Celtics. There's just no way that they're going to win this series, even
probably not.
No matter how I try to see it or
imagine
like
my brother. He lives in Boston. I have to listen to this all the time. Come on now.
Well, as a Sixers fan, I just don't see it. And then looking at the future, I don't know. Is there any value for Joel Embiid as a trade chip? Because as much as he is injury prone, I still think there's a team out there that says we are getting an NBA MVP. We're getting a guy who has the shooting touch that I was talking about earlier. And maybe our training staff can find out whatever the magic formula is to get this guy on the floor on a consistent basis. I think there's going to be some sucker out there. There's going to be some sucker out there.
It's a big contract too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I hope you're right, because I think they need to move him. I do. I think
Without question.
I think they need to move him and get value back, not just move him. You got to get value back. And again, if we can get that banger down low, again, the game has changed, but they seem to be set with obviously Maxine Edgecombe for a long time. They need to get that, for either a power forward or a center that lives down the paint, not lives on the outside like Embiid when he's healthy.
Yeah, just the amount of injuries that man has every year, and obviously his size has a lot to do with it.
Right, and the way he plays.
Yeah, exactly. I feel bad for him. I know that he does work hard, but in the end, he's not there when we need him, and that's the problem. So, I think you do need to move on. I think you need to do something different. And again, age is a difficult thing, and it's not getting any younger. And the Flyers is a great example of youth and a fire in the belly and everything else that, in essence, some of our other teams right now maybe don't have that. They, I had World Series, you know what?
You hope that this rubs off on the other teams. I mean, obviously the Eagles have had, won 2 Super Bowls in the last 10 years. So, but the Phillies, I hope the Phillies are watching, Flyer. I'm sure I know Harper and those guys are sports fans, and I'm sure they're, they can't not listen to talk radio or seeing the news. And pay attention. But you hope that somehow this can rub off on them, right? Because, if you're an athlete in the city and you're on a team, even if it's the Eagles right now, if you're on the Sixers, you're probably a little jealous of the fact that the Flyers are, everyone's just fawning over the Flyers.
Right out of nowhere.
And they should be jealous.
I think you feel fortunate that they are taking up so much of the
that's
oxygen in the room.
That's probably true, but they should feel like, man, we got to capture the city, And these guys are all competitive. They all, they're at the place they are now because they are competitive. So
to get things going, we were talking about how good the Flyers run is, how exciting it is, good for the city, and how much of an exciting story that is. And you were saying, the Phillies, nobody's really paying attention. At this point, the Phillies is becoming a pretty major story on the other end.
Yeah, that's right.
9-game losing streak. As much as they want everyone to be thinking Flyers and Sixers right now, they're starting to be front page news with how bad this season is unfolding.
Well, and right now we're in the 6th inning and down 5-2. And it just seems again, you get that one inning of a run or two, and then it dies down. We were saying there was a stat where the Phillies are dead last in runs, multiple scoring innings, where they've scored runs in multiple innings, which is it's a low bar. And the fact that they are not only just dead last, but they're last by a good amount. And it's sad. It really is sad. There's no other way to say it. And I'm not sure why they do that. Why they all of a sudden they shut down when they do. And Taijuan Walker did get designated for assignment today, and he had a rough. We talked about it earlier. He had a rough season. It was rough. I mean, our expectations weren't that high for him. Just keep us in the games, and. You got to say overall, he had a pretty good year for his standards last year. But here's this crazy stat that Jason Stark put out. Opposing hitters versus Taijuan Walker this year, okay? They batted .353, .417 on base percentage, .657 slugging percentage, and a 1.074 OPS. Joe DiMaggio, the year he hit in 56 games in a row, he hit .357, which is basically just only at 4 percentage points higher than Taijuan Walker's average. 440 on base percentage, 643, 1.083. So Joe DiMaggio's record-setting year was basically what Taijuan Walker was doing against opposing hitters. And that's unfortunately Taijuan Walker is a great guy, but just that stinks. So what I was talking about, this is a couple games ago. The Dodgers had percentage of games where they scored in multiple innings. Again, that's all you're saying is score 1 in the first, score 3 in the third, and all of a sudden you're 1 for 1. 90% of games they score in multiple innings. Same thing. The Cardinals were 90%. The Nationals were 86. The Rays are 86. Cubs are 80. Okay. Now you go all the way down, but then you get into this a lot of teams in the 70s, a lot of teams in the 60s, most teams, and you got 3 teams that are in the 59.09, and then at the very bottom, Philadelphia Phillies. This is after 21 games played. 21 games played. There was only 10 games where they scored in multiple innings. That's at 47.62%. So compare our 47.62% to the Dodgers at 90%. And then you also look at it's over 100-point gap, run differential gap between the Phillies and the Braves, which is unbelievable. We have the worst run differential in all of baseball. Yeah. You could never have thought that before the season started.
Absolutely not. And actually, if you think about it, the Nationals, you think about Chicago Cubbies, you look at the game, that stat tells the story of the game. I mean, the bottom line is when we lost those games, we lost them by a lot in most cases.
Yeah, blown out. We're not even being competitive.
No.
Now, Chris is trying to blame me because my title is Director of Fun and Games.
Of course he is.
And I left the Phillies, and he's saying there's no fun. And he's saying there's no real games because they're not competitive.
Well, they missed your jokes.
So I don't know about that. I did do a podcast a couple of days ago, and I went in and Kathleen, who's one of our works in the kitchen, she came running into our booth and says, "Oh my God, give me a joke. I miss it so much." So some people miss my bad jokes.
I enjoy them.
So,
I have to admit that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So talk about not meeting expectations. What kind of expectations do you have for Zach Wheeler? And do you think Phillies fans should put a lot of hope on Zach Wheeler, his performance coming back into the rotation? I feel like the type of rehab he was doing, the fact that he's just out there on the mound is a victory in itself.
Yeah.
And I hope that as Phillies fans, we can kind of embrace that. And then anything that he does that's in the pot, like that's all just gravy at this point. But I know we need him to be good.
Yeah.
So right now, the situation dictates that there are going to be major expectations on this guy.
Well, this could create a big swing. You're right. This could be a big emotional lift for the team. He's starting Saturday. Now his last start,
that alone is awesome.
It's great. His last start in
kudos to him.
I think he pitched in Double-A, and his velocity was down. He gave up, I think, a couple home runs. Did not look great. Now he did look good, in some outings for that, rehab outings. If he can get back, then that really does there's a domino effect in a positive way. If he comes back and can be Zach Wheeler, or even 90% of Zach Wheeler, 85% of Zach Wheeler. At this point, I'll take 70% of a Zach Wheeler. But
better than 49.
But if you get Zach Wheeler, and then you get Sanchez. I know Sanchez. I'm not sure if he gave up the 5 earned runs, but then you get Sanchez is doesn't have to be the horse. And then that settles down. Everybody starts going. Then maybe Luzardi gets a little more relaxed. He's got the pressure off. I think when
that's just a lot to put on a guy.
I know it is, but when you have conversely, when you have Taijuan Walker, then all of a sudden everyone knows, all right, even if they're not thinking this, it's got to be subliminal that, Taijuan Walker this could be a tough one. He's going to give a lot of runs. Whereas if you have the exact opposite and you're thinking Zach Wheeler's on the mound, he's going to be stingy, we're going to be good to go, and that's going to relax me and everyone else, and a domino effect down the line. So who knows? But then again, it could go the other way. All of a sudden, if everyone's thinking that, good, Zach Wheeler's back. Zach Wheeler comes back, and let's say he has some rough outings.
Yep.
Well, then that's gonna create that boulder getting bigger and bigger, right?
Yep.
I mean, so it could go one way or the other.
Yeah, I know that fans are putting a lot of expectations on his return, and we were talking about Embiid earlier and about how his game evolves when he comes back in. He's not the complete player until he's gone through a number of games. It's probably going to be the same for Wheeler, that he's not going to be the complete Zach Wheeler until he's been out there for a month.
Yeah, I think you're going to see Wheeler coming back. I think he's going to be slow. I think your point was right on. The fact that he's gone through rehab, that he's essentially on the mound coming up, that in and of itself is amazing.
Yep.
And we have to accept that. And if that means that we're going to be giving up part of the season until he gets back to where he's supposed to be, then so be it. We're certainly not doing well without him. So,
No.
I don't think we could go anywhere but up.
Well, 1996 was the last year that we had the All-Star game. Okay.
Yeah.
We were, what did I tell you? We were like
65 and 97.
65 and 97. No, that's it.
And 95.
No, 65 and 97. We were 65 and 97 in the year, again, 1996. Last time we had the All-Star game. This year we had the All-Star game. Right now we're not off to a good start. What are we, 8 and 15? So that probably extrapolates to less than that record, right? So, but obviously we're not going to continue the way. There's no way we can. I guess there is, but I hope not.
Well,
I mean, obviously
going to turn a page, hopefully, in the season and start to get things going in the right direction.
But you want to have a good season when it's you're hosting an All-Star game. All eyes are on you, and it's in the city. Obviously, think about it. If we have let's say we had 3 or 4 All-Stars, it's so much fun. 96, we only had Ricky Pitalico as our All-Star. And again, it would be a shame if Schwarber's our only All-Star, this year. You got to have, because you want it's in your city, in your ballpark, you're showcasing the team. A lot of storylines will be on a national broadcast about the home team. And you don't want that national story to be about how bad they are. They only have one representative, and it was, Kyle Schwarber in the home run derby and Bryce Harper playing in the game.
That's amazing when you take a look at what the money that they pumped into Philadelphia recently. I mean, every street is under construction, and they're all, cleaning this up and taking care of that and everything else. It'd be amazing that, the only thing that's not cleaned up is our team. I mean, the bottom line is Philadelphia is starting to look great.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an exciting year for the city. Yeah. Obviously, you're having
you get the World Cup.
I still can't say is it semi-cinquentennial? What is it?
Sesquicentennial. Right?
Semi-sesquicentennial? Is that what it is?
Sesquicentennial right? is 150, so it's.
I'm putting it on you. Come on, give me the right.
This is the semi-quincentennial.
Semi-quincentennial.
I believe so. Yeah.
Semi-quincentennial.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So obviously
it's 250 years.
Right? We have World Cup. Right. We have World Cup games coming to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Right now the tickets are expensive, but hopefully they're going to be coming down. We're not having the problem that New Jersey's having, because they're charging an exorbitant amount for the public, I guess the trains,
the trains
that are going there, like outrageous, like $150 when normally it costs like $10.
They did that to the expressways too, going to Atlantic City back in the day.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But again, you have the All-Star game. There's a lot of stuff going on. You have the PGA tournament at Ronimink.
Yep.
That's just in a couple of weeks. That'll be fun. So the spotlight's going to be on Philadelphia for a while. And wouldn't it be great with all the spotlight on the city that if we can have the Flyers somehow, we were talking, Chris, earlier, that hockey is the one sport where that 7 seed, that 6 seed, the 8 seed can win it all.
Yeah.
Because you can get a hot goalie, you get a hot young team. It's been done before. Tougher in NBA. NBA, you pretty much know, it's going to be one of the top 4 seeds getting to the finals. Baseball and hockey are the 2 sports really where you can have teams come out of nowhere, right?
Oh yeah.
Marlins have done it twice, just out of nowhere.
And football wild card.
Football you can do a wild card, right? Basketball probably the only sport where
everybody already knows that, even when it's you get into the Sweet 16 in college, the Final Four and all that. Final Four is pretty much predictable.
Yep.
Except for this year.
Yeah. I had all 4 teams in the Final Four.
Did you
in my pool? Yes. But the problem is I would have won if Arizona and Connecticut had won. I guarantee no matter what happened in the championship game, I'd win the pool. And what happens? Michigan and who was the other one? Michigan and no,
I won all the money.
Yeah,
did you? Did you win?
Yeah. So what's the thinking, Ben? Talking about the spotlight with the change for BCWSA Utility Service. We're talking about kind of some of the things you guys do, but what's the thinking behind the change of the moniker?
So some of the things that obviously that we look at is we're a monopoly. Obviously, we're a utility, but a lot of our services benefit our customers, and we're going to be trying to sell that. That's one of the jobs that Lee Alexander does for us. On the construction side, with our developer side, that essentially if we can come in there, cut costs for those folks, that has a direct effect on the customers, the future customers of us, and the cost of the houses. So if we're able to reduce the construction costs, we can eliminate a lot of the inspection costs that can be 10, 15% of the value of the house by us doing the work. And we then get the guarantee of actually having really good quality work on the construction. We don't have to worry about future problems and things of that nature when things start to fall apart. We actually provide for the economic development for those builders and so forth to come in, and the houses are cheaper, and you're going to get more people to move into your area. So that's part of it from that perspective. The other part is that as we move away from an environment where a lot of these communities were selling their systems because they hadn't reinvested money into the infrastructure, they were worried about some of the private competitors, whether it be American Water or Essential Utilities at one point, about what the cost of the rate structure was going to look like, let alone private equity. So now moving forward, a lot of the provisions are being looked at. Act 12, which allowed for fair market value for the purchase of those systems and so forth, has become a real issue and is being looked at in Harrisburg to actually overturn some of those laws. And that's going to have a direct impact on acquisitions for a lot of these entities. Perhaps also for us, although we actually do it as a default mechanism for folks that actually need it, and then say this makes sense for us because there's economy of scales, it reduces our cost, reduces yours, we can offer a great rate structure. In any event, moving forward, instead of solely looking at the ability to go in there and acquire these systems, a lot of these municipalities may want to continue to own them. They don't have to do a substantial amount of reinvestment. We could actually go in there and do turnkey operations, save them money, and they still get to keep the asset and then reduce their costs, which is one of the reasons why they need to do something. In that particular case, unless they're really behind the 8 ball and they need money for taxes or something of that nature, they need to sell off that asset, they could use this to reduce their rate structure.
Now, are those types of things typical of water and sewer authority
no.
in other locations?
No, what we do is very unique. It's definitely, it's a blend. And again, you have to look at the difference between us and a local municipality that does it. We are a business that's owned by a governmental agency. That's probably the best description. Our books are separate. Everything we do is completely separate, but ultimately we're owned and then again, separated for the operation portion. But in most entities where you have a municipal authority that's running a town, they come in, and in the Commonwealth, which we are in Pennsylvania, they are said, okay, say, I don't know, you pick any community that you wish. Abington Township, a great example. Okay, so they have their own system, their own tax base, et cetera. And they said, well, we're going to create an authority to operate our system. By the way, I don't believe they actually do too much of that any longer. But in any event, the bottom line is they create that. And when they do, they have an instant customer base, okay, because their township owns them. And they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And okay, you're going to be the entity. And they operate within the small confines in which their community serves.
Gotcha.
And when we were created mostly in the 1960s, early 60s, to provide for failing water and sewer systems, and of course the expansion of Bucks County in its growth period. And in the 1960s, the biggest problem was, well, what do? We get a lot of on-site septic systems are all failing. We got a lot of wells. Water's not good. So what do? So they had to cross municipal boundaries to get to. And at that point, the city of Philadelphia was the way to go, in order to provide those services. So they needed an entity that was large enough that could finance all of the capital construction in order to get there. So that's what our primary purpose was at that point. But today, if you look at the difference between us and a lot of these other entities, is when the county of Bucks created us, one of the things that was not be able to be given was, oh, here's the service territory and here's your customers. The answer was, you have none. Go find some. So we were no different from any of our competitors in that particular case. You had, American Water that was always here, and you always had what used to be Philadelphia Suburban, which then became Aqua, and then eventually became Essential, and now is looking to be merged with and acquired by American Water. So you're really down to one. So when you're going into these acquisitions and so forth, you're looking at a completely different animal. You've got a completely separate private water company, American Water. You have private equity companies that are coming in there that are looking 3 to 5 years to turn it over and do something with it. And then you've got basically ourselves that do this type of thing across the state of Pennsylvania. And we're large enough to be able to offer that. We have the economy of scale, and we have the ability to finance these projects, which if you're on the local level, you probably do not when you're doing a larger. There's a mouthful.
Did you get all that, Chris?
I'm taking notes.
Because you're going to have to explain it to me.
I'm taking notes.
John, we could talk about it later over a cigar.
Okay.
Well, top of the hour here, so gives us an opportunity to kind of reset everything, remind everybody that we are here at the Mount Airy Casino Resort and Lodge. Oh, I believe we got Anthony Sanfilippo standing by. He may be joining us in just a moment. Tommy Green also waiting in the wings, but let's step aside briefly. We'll return here to All In just a moment. Here from the Mount Airy Casino Resort and Lodge. Ben, thank you so much for joining us. And
Ben?
We're waiting for the solution for the Phillies. He's getting on the radio shortly. Tommy
there you
Green.
go.
Yep. All right, we'll be right back.
All right.
At Penn Community Bank, we're your financial partner for all of life's moments. Our checking accounts are designed with you in mind, providing convenient access and 5-star mobile and online banking services to help you achieve your goals. Right now, you can earn a $350 cash bonus for opening a qualifying new checking account with direct deposits in the first 60 days. Visit PennCommunityBank.com/cash bonus to learn more. Penn Community Bank, here we grow. Offer terms and conditions apply. Limited time offers subject to change. As for full details, member FDIC.
Looking for the ultimate night out? The stage is heating up at Mount Airy Casino Resort, and you do not want to miss what's coming next. Looking for a laugh? The one and only Vic DiPetito brings his high-energy comedy to the resort on May 16th. Then, on June 20th, experience the flawless harmonies and legendary hits of the Eagles with 7 Bridges, the ultimate Eagles experience. Ready for a getaway where you can be extraordinary? Escape to the Pocono Mountains and the ultimate luxury of Mount Airy Casino Resort, Pennsylvania's first triple 4-diamond casino resort. Hit the floor for non-stop gaming action, and you can feel the rush of the floor with over 1,700 slots and over 70 table games. Indulge in world-class dining and unwind with tension-melting massages at their full-service spa, or relax in the luxury of their spacious and modern guest rooms. Whether you're here for high-stakes thrills or the ultimate relaxation, your perfect escape is waiting for you. Find your flavor, find your luck, and find your luxury at Mount Airy Casino Resort. Book your experience now at MountAiryCasino.com. That's MountAiryCasino.com. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. BCWSA Utility Services wants to make sure you stay informed when it matters most. In rare situations like a water main break, boil water notice, or other service issues, BCWSA uses an emergency notification system to send alerts by phone, text, or email. But they can only reach you if your contact information is up to date. Visit bcwsa.net and click Update Your Contact Information to get started. BCWSA Utility Services.
All right, welcome back to Mount Airy Casino Resort and Spa. Chris Ermer with John Brazer, Tommy Green now joining us. And I believe through the magic of technology, we're going to get Anthony Sanfilippo here to join the discussion as well. What's happening, Tita?
How you doing, pal? I slipped right in on you.
Yeah.
So slid right beside my pal,
And
Brazer.
Tita, ever since you got here, the Phillies have been scoring some runs. In fact, now it is 6-4, right? 6-4 in the top of the seventh, with 2 outs.
How about that?
So,
Marshall's
Tommy, you're bringing.
Marshall's had a pretty good day, dude.
Yeah, you're bringing in some luck right
Well,
here.
They need that. We got to bring the pitching stats.
I think it's 6-4. The Chiron is not very active over there, right? If I'm looking at that correctly.
We'll find out what's
All right,
going
we'll
on.
find out. But we're watching that. We're doing the show.
6-3.
6-5.
6-5 now.
Oh,
Caught up.
6-5 mid.
It's 6-5 now.
Oh, you're ahead because it's now going to the bottom. So
It's going. Yeah. I'm ahead. This is wrong. What we're watching.
yeah,
So,
and again, the guy in the bottom, whoever's doing the Chiron underneath, is really
yeah.
behind because he has it at 6-3. So it's 6-5. So the Fighting Phils are coming back. They've scored in multiple innings. And we were saying that was a big problem, that we were dead last in games where you had multiple games or multiple games where they scored multiple innings.
Yes, and it seems like the only runs they've been scoring is by the home run. Hadn't been any combination of moving runners around, getting runners over, getting runners in with less than 2 out. I mean, when they had a chance to, it hadn't been just a base hit that done some things and done that. It's been living on the home run, and we went over the course of a season. Yeah, you go through streaks where, hey, you're living on a run, but they've been all solo homers. Yeah. It seems like
and we haven't.
You got to have runners on.
We went for a week without scoring, without getting a hit with runners in scoring position. A week.
That's unbelievable.
You can't
that's
do
almost
that.
Unheard of.
That's almost impossible.
I mean, for them to be shut out at least, I mean, I know they got shut out twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
For them to do that, is I mean, that I mean, it's concerning to me. I mean, I know that had to be, chapping somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as baseball players, just squeezing about 1 run, there's pride involved in that.
Sure.
You never want to go. It's like being no hit.
Right.
They're trying everything they can to try to get you to mess up, to do the little things, maybe try to bunt, maybe do, some things. If you walk a guy, trying to do some things on base to keep you, maybe get a ball over the plate too much, make you a little jumpy, because nobody wants to be no hit or shut out, period.
Certainly not. We're going to have Anthony on?
Yes. I'm not sure if I have to add Anthony to the stage. Or if Anthony.
Here you go. I'll add myself.
Hey.
Or are you being polite and just biding your time there, Anthony?
I wanted to be fair. I mean, you and Tommy were talking. I didn't want to just jump in on the conversation.
Jump on in.
Yeah, come on.
Well, Anthony, we got a lot to talk about because we've got a lot of things going on. We got the Phillies actually making a bid for a comeback. We got the Eagles
win today.
We got the Eagles draft tonight. You got the Sixers playing tomorrow night. Stealing a game in Boston, and then obviously, I know it's near and dear to your heart, the Flyers.
How about the Flyers?
I'm sure you were at the game last night.
Yeah.
But I was not. I was at Chickies and Pete's, but the excitement there was unbelievable. And let's start with the Flyers. What's your take? It's so exciting that they've taken over the city. Everyone's wearing orange. You're hearing the horn all the time, and it's just they've come together. Since the Olympics, they've just been the hottest team, and it's everyone from the defense, Drysdale to Ristolainen to all the different components, York and everybody, and then you got the young guy, you have Tippett, you got Zegras, you got Porter Martone. We were talking earlier, some brewery better already start making the Martone Porter out there.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
The 93 feels a little bit, people.
But they're younger, but you guys were kind of old. No offense.
We had a good mix, dude.
Yeah, you had a good mix. Yeah. These guys seem to be like the real young team that's just taking this league by storm.
Yeah, it's fascinating, John, when you think about it. It was 43 days ago, just 43 days. You said since the Olympic break. I'll go even later. It was March 10th. They were 9 points out of a playoff spot. And they were in next to last in the conference.
And everyone keeps saying it's a 3.4% chance of making the playoffs.
3.8%. It was a 3.8% chance to make the playoffs. And then they went and did it. And they've been playing incredible hockey. But I am utterly flabbergasted because this has never happened in the history of the NHL. Like a team to be that close to the end of the season, that far out, to even make the playoffs, let alone come in and be on the brink of winning a round. And, there's been a lot of reasons why. You mentioned Martone. Kid's played 12 games in his NHL career. He's got points in 10 of them now.
And 2 game-winning goals in playoffs.
First teenager in NHL history to have game-winning goals in his first 2 playoff games.
And causing me to tell my 18-year-old daughter to get her act together because there's a 19-year-old doing big things in the world.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many things going right with that team right now. The goaltending's been unbelievable. Dan Vladar's been so good. Even then down the stretch, Sam Ersson, who was terrible the first half of the season, had a really good finish to his year. They keep saying the fourth, or we keep saying the fourth line because that's where they're listed when they write them out. But they're playing minutes that are much more than a fourth line, which is Charles Couturier and Luke Glendening, Garnet Hathaway. That line's been unbelievable for the Flyers. And it's, what they've done is they've gone kind of old school, but in a more modern style. What I mean by that is they're hitting anything that moves.
Yep.
They are driving the Penguins through the boards, right? but they're doing it while maintaining, I guess, a composed and sound structure defensively. And so it's like it's an opportunistic physical play, which is not normal for hockey, right? Normally it's either you're uber physical and you take your chances and hope you separate a guy from the puck, and if you miss, they're gonna have a good chance coming back at you, or you sit back and don't hit them at all and you let it be a speed and skill game, right? They've kind of found this threading of the needle to do it kind of a different way, and it's working, and it's unbelievable. And that barn last night, I was out in Pittsburgh too for the 2 games out there. It was good, good crowd. Pittsburgh fans are great fans too. But there was nothing like what I saw last night. Like, that was 8 years in the making to have a crowd for a playoff game in Philadelphia for hockey. And they delivered and didn't disappoint.
I think the defense is what has impressed me the most. When you see just Drysdale, I mean, a lot of people were saying that, I know Gauthier got a goal last night, and, no, we lost him. Cutter, he didn't want to play here. And we got Drysdale. It's kind of like a consolation prize. Well, he's a young guy, and he's got credentials. And it seems like, last night he had so many times where he would get his stick in the, and basically deflect the puck away from what could be, a pretty good scoring opportunity. And the defense just solidified. I think Ristolainen's been a great, it's almost like adding him as a late trade deadline, right? Or even when you were getting in Forster, coming in late, coming off the injury, he was almost like a late trade deadline that, we had the benefit of the young guy, Porter Martone, and the energy you get there. You get the 2 guys I just mentioned coming back. And then you got that third line or the fourth line that's, playing gangbusters, and basically Couturier is found like the fountain of youth, and still winning the faceoff, still great on the shorthanded, but he's playing with it, just an energy that I think is infectious on the younger guys, and I think it's infectious the other way around too.
It's a really good blend right now, John. I mean, and it's a little bit of everything. You're right, and it kind of came together quick, because when you think about it, the trade deadline was the week after they came back from the Olympics, and they traded Bobby Brink, who was part of the team. And they decided not to trade Ristolainen, which was probably a smart move, as you're talking about him. He's playing 25 minutes a night. He scores a goal. He's been a beast out there. And then they bring in Luke Glendening off the waiver wire, which, again, it's a move.
That was a very underrated move.
Yeah, nobody talks about that move, right?
Yeah.
And here's a guy that comes in, and it solidified that line. It's exactly what that line needed. Yeah. And now you have 3 veterans, the 3 most experienced players on the team as far as playoffs are concerned, in Couturier, Glendening, Hathaway, all 3 playing together. And I actually asked Luke Glendening about this today over at the training center. I said, did it like immediately just have chemistry because you're 3 guys who know a thing or two because you've seen a thing or two? And he basically said yes. Like, I mean, that's what made it easier for them to gel, because they've just all been there before and they all kind of get it. There was a conversation. Everybody kind of took, okay, this is our role, whatever. And Couturier said to me today when I asked him the same question, he said, what it allows us to do is we always know one of the 3 of us is going to get back to help defensively. So it allows either the first forward in, F1, or second forward, F2, to go in and take a chance, right? Take a chance on that hit. Take a chance on making the play, stripping the puck.
You got the help on the backside.
Because the help's behind you, right? And so because they trust each other so much, I think that's why it's so effective. And it just works. It's really, really, really good.
How about the individual effort on a couple of things? Last night, Noah Cates, man, his hands were so fast.
Yeah.
Getting from backhand to forehand and putting that in. That happens like just in a blink. He totally caught Pittsburgh by surprise. The 2 nights ago, Tippett, the play where, I think it looked like he passed to himself, but it looked like he realized that, I think he was passing to somebody else. Then he realized, well, he's not there, so I'm going to get it myself. And then he goes around basically 2 defensemen, gets kind of pulled down a little bit, gets back up, hones in right on the goalie, and the defenseman's thinking he's shooting. The goalie thinks he's shooting, and then he passes over to Hathaway and for an easy goal. Just one of the greatest effort goals I've seen.
Yeah, and I've said it on Twitter right as it happened. I said maybe one of the best individual plays you will ever see somebody make shorthanded. Because that's the other thing about it. Like, I mean, it's one thing to be creative when you're 5-on-5 or you're on the power play, but they were shorthanded. They were down a man. And he's doing all that dipsy doing around everybody, like dodging through 3 defensemen or 3 Penguins total. I think it was only 1 real defenseman on the ice. And then to know where Hathaway is to make that pass and an easy tap, basically an easy tap in goal. Like that's a play that's a once in a lifetime kind of play.
Yeah.
Like what he did there. And it was something. And look, there's something, and I think Tommy can talk about this as a former athlete, right? There's a belief, and I think this is probably something that they had in '93 too, because if you remember, and Tommy can talk about it, that '93 team, everybody picked them for last place, right? And that was not only did people pick them for last place, that was last place behind the expansion Florida Marlins, right? They were picking the Phillies to finish in last. And so there was a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and you guys used that to be successful. Well, this Flyers team, people doubted them all year, and it's the same kind of thing. Like, all right, you keep doubting us, we'll show you.
It is. I mean, it's the same exact thing. And listening to y'all talk about it, because y'all keep up with hockey more than I do. But what I have seen of it, them being young back, and the belief once they get the train going down the tracks and the belief that they can win and do something, and it's contagious. Good things happen. They got that belief that it can happen, and that's sort of what we had. We talking about the veteran guys on the Flyers, and then talking about the veteran guys we had in the clubhouse was the same way, because we had a mix of young guys and a mix of veterans that showed us how to play the game the right way, to go about our business the right way, and leave it out on the field, and just like the way they're leaving that on the ice every day. They're trusting in each other and doing and having each other's back, and that's the way we played, and that's the way they're playing now as the Flyers are concerned. So it's showing the fans, to me, that the Philly fans need to remember that, hey, it's not over. They can get this train going in the right direction. It can get contagious. It's just going to take a little bit to get it right. And hopefully, you don't want to get too far behind, but hey, the train can go the other way too, So,
absolutely.
It's the same type of thing.
And Tommy, I'm sorry, John, but I wanted to throw one more thing to Tommy real quick before you ask me. I argue with people on social media all the time, and I like to mix it up with the fans. But I argue with them all the time about culture and belief and things that are a little bit of an intangible, like a good locker room, good clubhouse in baseball, right? Like,
no question.
That matters, right? That makes a difference when you are trying to win a championship, correct?
No question. I mean, to me, it's one of the huge things is having a good clubhouse. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world. You don't have the camaraderie and the jailness in the clubhouse to get along. You can have times where you agree to disagree and that type of things, and things go on in the clubhouse. But overall, the cohesiveness, in where they're battling through thick and thin. There's no turmoil in the clubhouse. Somebody, it's a team aspect. It's a total team flavor. There's no me, I person in there, because that can destroy a clubhouse. A person that's, a me, I guy that's influential, say to speak, should be influential, so that's a huge thing in the clubhouse, which we didn't have, but I can just vouch for us. We had a wonderful leader in our clubhouse that if anything did arise, the coaches and manager had the easiest job on the planet with the Phillies back then, because it never got to them. They didn't never have to do anything about it. So,
so my question is, what is kind of going into that? We talked about the players and how everyone stepped up, and the rookies and the veterans and defensemen. What role has Tocchet done? Because I know these guys, some of these guys were under Haxtell, and Haxtell had coached in college, had great success in college. Then he comes here. It was kind of a learning curve a little bit. And then you have obviously, I'm probably missing some Tortorella, and Tortorella was more kind of get in your face and kind of more of the Larry Boa style of coaching, managing. And then you get Tocchet, who is, is a veteran coach, who's a guy who could, as a player, he was a scorer and he was a tough guy, right? That kind of the rare combination.
And that's awesome. I think all young guys need to see that.
But I think he brought that, instant respect. And I've been hearing that this is the tightest. These guys are really close. And you're in there all the time, Anthony, in the locker room. But can you talk about what Tocchet brings to this team and how close these guys are?
Yeah. And the one coach, by the way, that you forgot was Elaine Vigneault. That was the one that you missed.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yep. That was the one that was in there.
I knew I was missing somebody.
Yeah, it's all good. So I will tell you that Rick Tocchet probably was an underrated coach this year. Everybody made so much about the stuff with him and Mishkov, right? Like for so long, because Mishkov struggled this year in his sophomore year, and he hates it. He's hurt. He's ruining the development of the Flyers' next superstar. All Rick Tocchet has been doing all year long has been getting these guys to buy into playing a certain style, to playing what they call, they say it's the coach speak, right? Play the right way. But it's really about playing for the team and not playing for the individual. And it took a little bit of time. There was some ups and downs, but they got there. And he has them. He's the reason that they believe in each other, right? Are they a tight-knit locker room? No doubt, right? And Tocchet even said last night, he said in 40 years in hockey, this is the closest team he's ever seen. Now, could that be a little bit hyperbolic because he's in the moment? Sure. But at the same time, you don't say that if it's not at least close to what you're saying, right? So, yes, they're very close. They do love playing for each other. And I think there were two examples of that last night. If you go and look at Zegras' goal, that was right after the craziness where that referees put 11 guys in the penalty box.
Have you ever seen that before? That was unbelievable.
Well, I've seen penalty boxes full, but not all at once. I've never seen 11 guys go to the penalty box at the same time. That was a first. I have seen them both full like that, but not all for the same thing. And I also think it was a little bit over adjudication. Like two guys needed to be in the penalty box from that scrum.
I love hearing the post game because I think Zegras talked about how if someone scored, we got to go celebrate with our
well, that was the thing, right? And that's what I'm talking about, it being so close. Like Christian Dvorak, who was in the penalty box, that if we score, got to come over here and celebrate. Zegras scores, and he goes over there, and they all celebrate right by the penalty box, right? Like
they went by the Pittsburgh bench.
Yeah, they went over by the Pittsburgh box too, and that's what we talk about with closeness. And then later in the same period, Nick Seeler, who's certainly not a goal scorer, he's as a defenseman, he scores a goal, and he immediately runs to the bench and starts hugging guys, right? Like that's.
And at the end of the last game, Vladar, when he makes that great save at the very end, then he goes and hugs like his teammates, and he hugs one of the guys that's on the ice that's cleaning up the ice, and that you can tell. And it's just you can tell
they're having fun.
You can tell they're having fun, which is all part of it. The 93 guys certainly had fun. But having fun, loving each other, and respecting the game, all three.
Hey, that right there, respecting the game is a huge thing. Is a huge thing, and they're going about it the right way. You can have fun and respect the game at the same time.
Right.
100%.
Yeah, it's fun. And then as you mentioned, Danny Briere, look at the job he's done. I mean, getting Zegras, who had tons of talent, was a first round draft pick, right? A high first round draft pick.
Yeah.
And the guy, everyone knew he's got tons of talent, but
sometimes it gels at different times.
Comes here and again, some of the smaller moves, as you had mentioned. So Glendening. So it's you got to give him a lot of credit and give him credit for not trading Risto, right? Because everyone kept saying, all the experts like, oh, they're gonna trade him, and then if they had done that, I'm not sure we'd be here where we are.
No, you're 100% right, John. And it was really kind of interesting. I did a story about a week ago, maybe it was a little bit less than a week ago, about Zegras and about Jamie Drysdale. When you think back, everybody screamed and yelled about the Cutter Gauthier trade, and I get it. Like the guy's going to be he already is a legitimate goal scorer, but he's going to be a 40-plus goal scorer for several years in the league, and obviously,
and
trading that guy
in a tough position.
Yeah, he didn't want to play. He didn't want to play here, so their hands were tied.
Right.
But what Danny Brazer did, which I think was really smart, right, and especially so for a general manager who had no experience on the job prior to this,
right.
He makes that deal with the Ducks, and it's kind of like an agreement between him and the Ducks GM, Pat Verbeek. It's kind of like, okay, listen, you're getting this player for pennies on the dollar. If we have a deal later on, you got to kind of, give me a little bit of something back. And so that kind of happens between them. So now if you combine the two trades together, the Flyers traded Cutter Gauthier and Ryan Poehling, a fourth-line center, like that's a dime a dozen player, and they get Drysdale and Zegras, right? Now it doesn't sound as bad if you look at it from that perspective. It's still probably a win for the Ducks ultimately, but not an overwhelming win for the Ducks, right? And so, and the fact is that Zegras and Drysdale, they were roommates in Anaheim. Like, they were best friends. And when Drysdale gets traded, like he said to me the other day, he said, I didn't think that we would ever play together again. And now here they are 4 years later, right, from the time that when they first started playing together, and they had all these dreams about winning a championship and playing in the playoffs and whatever in Anaheim. They never played a playoff game in Anaheim. They end up on the same team together, and they're now succeeding with the Flyers. Like, it's a story that you can't, doesn't normally happen. And credit to Brazer for knowing that when he traded for Zegras, how much more comfortable he would feel coming to Philadelphia, knowing that his good friend and former roommate was already on the team.
And then what does it bode for the future too? Because I know Vladar is a restricted free agent, right? Or he's got one more year.
Got one more year.
Got one more year. Zegras is a restricted free agent, but we're going to sign him, right?
Yep.
And obviously you've got a lot of young guys that are here for a while. Are there any? I mean, if you're thinking about the future, is there anybody that we're in danger of losing that's an unrestricted free agent?
No, nobody. I mean, nobody of note. I think all the players
salary cap room, right?
Well, plenty of it. I mean,
plenty of it.
Yeah, the NHL, they were running with a flat cap for so long because of COVID.
Right.
It actually extended for like 6 years. Like, it was long. Like, their flat cap was long because players had to pay back like escrow money and stuff like that. But now the salary cap is jumping. Oh, and they did something this year they'd never done before, and that's announced what the cap number is going to be for 3 years in a row. Like 3 years ahead of time. Usually you got the cap number 1 year at a time. Now 3 years from now what your cap number is, right? So it allows teams to plan. And when you see how much it's going up over the next, the Flyers currently, I think it's like $45 million that they have that they're under the cap for next season. Now, like you said, they have to sign Zegras. They're probably going to give Vladar an extension after July 1st. There's a couple other restricted free agents that are probably going to get contracts. So that number is going to come down a little bit, but it's still a lot of money that they have, a lot of space that they have to go and bring other players into this organization.
And with this run, it's going to be even more attractive to potential free agents, to seeing the energy in the building, seeing how the nucleus of the young nucleus of this team. So when some superstar is trying to decide whether to come to Philadelphia, go to Edmonton, go somewhere, this is, 2 years ago, a year ago, this might not have been an attractive place. I'm not going there. They haven't won in so many years.
Right.
All of a sudden now they're saying,
now you got a pretty good base.
Yeah, we might want to go here. So is the free agent, I think what I understand, the free agent class is not great.
It's not very good. It's not very good. There's players. I don't want to make it sound like there's not going to be anybody. There will be players that you can, add and make your team a little bit better. But if you're going to seriously improve your roster from where it is right now, the Flyers still are going to need a top line center at some point.
Right.
They're doing this without a top line center. They're doing this without a number one defenseman. Ristolainen and Sanheim are both probably number twos.
Yeah,
right?
Sanheim we haven't even talked about.
But they're both probably number twos. They're not. Neither one of them is the number one.
Right.
So they're kind of getting away with that, right, for right now. So you kind of need those two things. What you're going to have to do is, if you're going to go get them, is you're going to one of two things. You're going to have to either make a trade, and you're going to have to give up some of your young assets, maybe some prospects that are coming. I mean, they did draft, 8 guys in the first 3 rounds last year, right? So you'll probably give us a couple of prospects, and maybe even a player off your current team. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go after a restricted free agent. And the way that works in the NHL, which is really fascinating, is you actually work with the player's agent on crafting a contract for them. And then you want to craft a contract that you think that their current team will not match.
Right.
So you're talking about offering somebody like an exorbitant sum of money that's really ridiculous, and their current team will look at it and go, yeah, good luck, you do it. We're not paying them that much money. And then in return, for a player of that caliber, you have to give up 4 first-round picks in the future. Right? Now, the Flyers have an extra first-round pick. So, in essence, you get one of them back, in a sense, right? So it ends up being 3. You could maybe possibly trade a player off your current roster and get another one to make it 2. Right? So, there are a couple things you can do to kind of bring that down a little bit, but you have to get it right. Like, if you're going to throw $15, $16, $17 million a year at a 22, 23-year-old player who another team looks at and says they think that we think this player is a big part of our future, but they can't afford to match that, you got to get it right. Because if you don't,
because you're giving up draft picks and you're giving up, assets.
Yeah. So that's a more challenging way to do it.
Got to talk about what's for dinner.
Chris is talking about food here, Anthony. You're gonna be licking your chops because we're going to Il Molino.
Yes, we are.
And it is a excellent Italian steakhouse.
And it will go down even better when we do eat that tonight after seeing what the Phillies are doing.
Well, they've just tied it up 6-6.
They tied it up 6-6.
And they have the bases loaded. But don't let that distract you, Chris Ermer.
Yes. Hey, ready to treat your taste buds to something truly extraordinary? At Mount Airy Casino Resort, world-class dining always just steps away from the action. Start your culinary journey with the ultimate variety at the buffet, or dive into bold, fresh flavors of Pan-Asian cuisine at Lucky 8 Noodle and Sushi Bar. And for those upscale evenings, indulge in prime steaks, handcrafted pasta, the award-winning bistecca by Il Molino. Grab a bold, flavorful bite any time of the day at Guy Fieri's Mt Pocono Kitchen.
Fieri.
All guests.
Guy Fieri's.
Fieri.
Fieri? Oh, it's Fieri. Sorry.
Yeah, Fieri.
Yeah.
All guests must be 21 years of age. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right.
Yeah, I've always wondered how you pronounce this.
Have you eaten there before, guys? Have any of you eaten there before?
Yes. We last couple of years.
Yeah. I've eaten there. We have a mountain house up that way, and been there a couple times myself. It's really good, really great spot.
Well, if you're in the Eagles, good.
We tie on our feed bags when we go into that place. We don't play around with it.
In the words of Merrill Reese,
yes,
it's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
It's good.
Anthony, are you also following now from the Eagles' point of view? It's funny. We've been, it's such a hockey mad town. But the Eagles have their draft tonight. Well, the NFL has a draft in Pittsburgh. The needs we had talked earlier, obviously they need to replenish the offensive line. They always need edge rushing. And you know that Howie loves his lines, both offensive lines, defensive lines. But they also need of a receiver. So what do you see the Eagles doing in the early part of the draft?
Yeah, I think that they have to go offensive line, guys. I really do. I know that there's been some talk about potentially adding a tight end, just because everybody always likes the skill position guys because obviously that's who you play on your fantasy teams, right? So that those are always the more popular players to take in the draft. But I really do think, you're looking at it. I know Lane Johnson's back this year and Landon Dickerson is back this year, but they're both
retire, right?
Yeah, they both could. Dickerson's really banged up, and I think that's part of it. And I think that Lane Johnson, I think it's just a matter of time with him. He's been around for so long. It's kind of like we were on the Jason Kelce watch for a couple of years. I think we're in that spot for Lane. So I think you need to start finding those next guys that are going to come in behind him. The big name I think that people are thinking about is Caden Proctor from Alabama. Thing with him is I don't think he makes it to 23. So Howie would have to get creative and kind of maybe trade up 6 or 7 spots to jump ahead of teams to make sure that they could get him. The other name, if they don't do that, is Monroe Freeling, another lineman from Georgia. Yeah. So I think one of those 2 guys makes the most sense. I know, again, Kenyon Sadiq is a tight end from Oregon, is a guy that, a lot of people really, really want, but I think that it would behoove them to go and get an offensive lineman at this point in the draft.
You're right. A lot of the fans like, the receivers.
Oh, they like the eye candy, they like
And I know there's a lot of receivers out there. Arizona State, has got a receiver, Denzel Boston. They've got, is it Mikel Lemon from USC? And then obviously there's Tate's could be gone from Ohio State. Have you ever, we were talking earlier too. Have you ever seen where Ohio State literally might have 5 players picked in the first 10 picks?
Yeah,
they might have, very easily might have 5 guys going.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
They have the top safety, they have the top, edge rusher, they have the top linebacker, they have the top receiver, right? And I think they have the top linebacker.
You already said that.
Already said that. They have some other. Yep. I was looking at where they could conceivably have 5 of the top 10 picks, and they didn't win the national championship, which I guess goes to show how quarterback is important.
Yeah, just go to show you.
Right.
Takes team, not one person.
It does take a team.
Yeah.
So, and do you think the kid Mendoza goes first, which everyone thinks is going to go to the Raiders? Do you think he's a surefire? Does he have success right away, you think?
I do think he'll be successful. How successful that will be, what we have to determine. I stopped
how often he's running for his life, right?
Yeah, I stopped doubting the Indiana people by the time they got to the national championship game.
Right.
I think that's when it hit me. Like, this is legit. Like, this isn't just a fun story. This isn't just a great Cinderella thing that they're going to make a Netflix special about. Like, this was a real team, and that kid was the quarterback for that team, and played really, really well. I think he's got the makeup that you need to be an NFL quarterback, and that matters more to me than anything else. Like, the makeup. Like, there are different skills. Some quarterbacks throw a better deep ball. Some quarterbacks are pocket passers. Some are they can run the ball a little bit. Some throw those outs really tight, right? I care about the makeup of the guy. Like, I don't care what your skill set is. If you have it between the ears and you have the personality to play the position, I think that you have a better chance of succeeding. And I really, really like that about Mendoza.
So I stepped away for a moment. Did I miss all the Phillies talk with Anthony?
We were talking positive because the Phillies are coming back 6-6.
Yeah,
and then Suzuki just hits.
No, you didn't miss anything, Chris.
Suzuki hits a solo home run. So now Cubs are back on top, 8-7.
Yeah,
bottom in the 8th. So
8-7.
7-6. 7-6. Sorry, 7-6.
What are the kind of workarounds or solutions or patches that you see, Anthony, to get this team to start to play the right way and get the results that we were expecting?
Yeah, I'll tell you the thing. Obviously, we all know they don't hit left-handed pitching. They've played poor defensively. There's been things that they're not hitting at all, and then they go out and score 6 runs today. But Christopher Sanchez gives up 10 hits and
12
the first
hits.
12 hits. It was like 10 in the first 3 innings, right?
Yeah, and the starter ERA in general has been high.
Yeah,
all the guys,
everybody.
It's not adding up. Like, a lot of it just isn't adding up, and I know that it's bad right now. I do tend to think. I mean, look, it can get to a point where it's so bad you can't fix it, right? But it is still April, and we've seen teams go through this before, right?
Yeah.
And the one I point out all the time is 2019 Washington Nationals. You look at that team. That's the most recent example in my mind, where they were 12 games under 500. Their run differential was -43. And like, oh man, this team stinks. And then all of a sudden they win the World Series and they win 93 games. It's too early in the season to completely crush everything.
Yeah.
But there are more red flags than there really should be with this team. There's no doubt about it.
There are red flags, I mean, but also there's some I think some things going on, some health issues too, little things that's we got to get our guys back. So there's and once you get it's contagious too. Once they do win, I mean, I think they'll roll off and play better, more consistently.
Yeah.
I've seen teams go through. I've been a part of teams like that where where the first half, I mean, we didn't do anything with it because we got too far behind too early. But we stunk it up in the first half, but we were the best team in the National League in the second half, type thing. So if they can right the ship early enough, and there's no reason why they can't, go on a run and end up having a good season. People are quick to judge when things go bad. There are human beings out there playing. They got to remember that. And it's not that easy. The game is not that easy. They go out there. I just think they just got to get healthy, totally healthy, and get Wheeler back, and hopefully he can give them a little kick a little bit, and and some positive things starts happening.
Well, one other one I'll bring up, and John, I know you'll remember this. I mean, a couple years ago, remember when the Phillies went to London and played the Mets?
Yep.
So when they came out of that series, like, the Phillies had the best record in baseball. The Mets were in last place. Everybody was kind of making fun of the Mets. That was June 6th and 7th or something like that. Like, it was early June.
They played great ball.
And we win that.
What happened after that? Phillies played 500 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
The Mets played their rear ends off and made it to the NLCS before they lost to the Dodgers, smoking the Phillies, by the way, in the playoffs. So, it could go even later. It could go into June. Everybody kind of looks at Memorial Day, but it can go even a week or two beyond that before you sit there and go, all right, now's the time to, pull the plug or whatever the case might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, and I hope that, the two guys that I'm most concerned about, I think most people are, well, I guess almost three, on the offensive side is, Bohm, who I know is going through some personal issues, and Stott, the two guys that are in their age-wise and career-wise, they're in their prime. They're just, their numbers are a little alarming. I know it's early, but it's alarming. And then the other one is, man, I was so happy when we re-upped Luzardo. Luzardo's got great makeup. He's got great stuff. He, had a very good year last year, and it was a great pickup by Dombrowski. And then it's just been a little scared. I remember last year he went through a little phase, and it was, I think some people attribute that to pitch. He was tipping his pitches, but not sure what exactly is going on with Luzardo, at this point, and plus the other two guys. What are you saying?
I don't know how to explain it. I mean, again, like, I look at some underlying numbers, and the underlying numbers are actually decent, right? Like, there are things that you sit there and go, this can't continue because this is going to. These numbers usually mean that you're going to end up like X, right? And when you look at the batting average against on balls in play, right? Like, it's ridiculous, some ridiculous number for the pitchers right now, and that's got to come back down. And then when you look at the exit velocities on the balls being hit, like, they've been nickel and dime. How many times have they had given up runs because of infield hits, right? It's just a lot of just crazy things that have happened.
There may be truth to
I
that.
think Luis Garcia just tied the game, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just done with hearing the broadcasters talk about how all these hits are cheap and the exit velocities are low, and I just see these runs coming across the plate, and I don't care how they're getting on base.
Well, speaking of runs, hits are hits, right? Regardless.
Speaking of runs coming across the plate, Adolis Garcia just tied it up in the top of the ninth.
Well,
tie game 7-7.
I mean, you hear the announcers doing that. I mean, and people look at, and I know pitchers come in. I know I used to, when I was a pitcher like that, I felt like, coming up through the minor leagues, you break a bat in half and the guy gets a blue base hit, everything. And you come in all mad and stuff like that. And I know my pitching coach back in the day, Leo Mazzoni, said, well, if you got the ball down, it wouldn't have gotten the air and been a base hit. There's always, something to do. I mean, So, I mean, but there's a lot of things you can't do. There's something to be said about making contact, and there's too much swing and miss, and in the game these days. So against the Phillies so far, yeah, they've had a lot of weak contact, but there's been contact.
Right.
So
yeah. Tommy, can I double down on that? I think what you're saying is very valid. The Chicago Cubs are red hot right now, right? They're playing some great baseball. They're 15-9. I think that they've won like 7 in a row or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Their team on base percentage so far through 24 games is .351. It's not a power team. It's not. Right? I mean, I know they had a few home runs today, but this is not a team built around power. This is a team that finds its way on base. And they find their way on base with just by getting their bat on the ball. They're a difficult team to strike out. They make contact and they make things happen. So
remind you like last year was the Brewers were a lot like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Game like that. So there's something to be said about that scrappiness and the willingness to buy into some of that sometimes to do that. So, I mean, is there a point where I think the Phillies, as far as through the guys, they buy into it a little bit. I mean, it's yet to be seen. But for them to play, I mean, to get back in and sustain, they gotta do the little things, and hopefully Day's a good sign for that. Because they've done a little bit of that.
Yeah.
The group that concerns me are like the older guys on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Turner, Harper, Schwarber. Like they're not going to be able to play at an elite level to the end of their contracts. There's just no way that that's going to happen. And at some point there has to be an identification that they're not worth the value that they're being paid. And I'm wondering if any of that is starting to, if those chickens are coming home to roost with those long, expensive, extended contracts on those guys. I mean, maybe seems like the first guy that's going to come under scrutiny like that is Trey Turner.
Yeah.
That contract might have been, more money than he was worth when they gave it to him.
Well, I mean, do I think any of these guys are worth the money they're under contract? No, I don't, but I look at what you're saying, Chris, and I'm like, there's no reason. Yeah, their guys are getting older. That don't mean they still can't play the game. I've seen pitchers come back and reinvent themselves. Just because they used to throw hard or be power guys, they come back and still were able to survive and compete and do a decent job. As somebody that threw slower, they located and started doing things the other way. That doesn't mean Harper has to be a home run guy or Schwarber has to do. He can still evolve and become, say to speak, a more guy that puts the ball in play a little bit more, not strike out as much.
Right.
And type thing, which is, I mean, you have to buy into that as a player a little bit. There's no reason they can't do it. I hate when they say, as long as they physically keep themselves in shape and they don't have any major injuries and stuff like that. To me, there's no reason why.
Yeah, David Ortiz. There's a lot of guys that have
reason why
late in their career. I've been there. I don't think they're the problem right now. I think the problem is more the kind of ancillary guys and the pitching and overall. I mean, obviously they could all do better.
Yeah,
but I think the bigger problem is, to me, Stott and Marsh and not hitting lefties and you're not now, especially Real Muto getting hurt, and now you're relying on Marchand, who hasn't done much this year. So, there's a lot of guys that need to step up.
Well, I mean,
I'm not worried about those three guys. I'm worried down the road, getting older, but I'm more worried about.
Well, it's very easy what you're saying. It takes a team. It don't take 2 or 3 guys. It takes the whole 9 guys.
Yep.
To get the job done.
I mean, that's what we've been saying about these 3. Like, oh yeah, at some point they're going to start to tail off. Well, is there any evidence that their games are evolving in that way in this year?
Well, I mean, Schwarber sort of had that renaissance last year a little bit where he played against left-handers and did the thing, and he hit better, and his average was up there. So it's there now. Is the game's got a wicked way of keeping you honest, and coming around. It's like your golf game. Once you think you got a lick, the guys throw the lightning bolt down there. So here, try this on for size. Right. How's this feel? Because if you're not seeing the ball at the plate as a hitter, how can you hit it if you're not picking it up? So there's times you go through that as hitters, and there's time pitchers go through, thing where they're out of whack just a touch, and the command goes just a little bit, and you're not exactly where you want to be, but it's all about the survival during that time. Do we stay close, or can we squeak across and manufacture runs rather than living off the home run? That's the difference right now. That's where they got to evolve more.
Anthony, what are you seeing you're in the clubhouse? What are you seeing in the clubhouse? Is it
well, to be fair, this past week and a half I've been
Flyers
with the hockey team, so I have not been in the clubhouse the past week and a half. Last time I was there was at the start of the 8-game losing streak, so it wasn't nearly as I think as dire as things are right now. But even then, I mean, they were kind of hovering around 500 or just below 500, and the message was, hey, we've been here before, we've done this before, like we've had bad stretches before. I mean, we at the time when we were talking about it, we're like, don't you remember last year when they got swept at Shea Stadium in April and couldn't score, and we're 6.5 games behind the Mets, and everybody wanted all the same, narratives were being screamed then: fire the coach, fire the hitting coach, get rid of the general. It was all the same thing, right? And then they went out and won the division 96 games. Again, that was prior to this being an 8-game losing streak. I got to imagine still that there is a belief in there that everything will be okay. Just because of the players and the talent that's in there. It just doesn't all go away all at once for everybody. It's possible that one or two guys will drop off, right, this year, and they're not going to be themselves. But I can't see that there's a clubhouse with 26 guys in it, and that 23 of them all suddenly don't forget how to play baseball. Right? Like it just doesn't. That doesn't register for me, and so that's why I'm still of the mindset that they can turn this around and everything will be okay. They've put themselves in a little bit of a hole. They're 8 games under 500. You're chasing a very good Braves team. Maybe you don't catch them this year. Maybe you have to fight for a wild card spot, but they've done that before too, right? So with the addition of the third wild card, it kind of gives you a little bit more runway to kind of get things back on track. And I still think that there's plenty of time for that. But if we're doing this, having this same conversation a month from now, you might get a different answer.
Yes, and most definitely on that one.
They're fighting today, battling in this one.
Yes, it is. It's turned into a real good ball game right now. It's just, hey, that's what you want to see from them. I mean, it's work a walk and do some things and push it, and everybody is like next man up. Do the job. And that's what you want to see.
Anthony, getting back to the Flyers, did you see the video of Gritty getting the fake penguin and basically pummeling the penguin and throwing him 2 levels down into the arena?
Yeah, I was there for it. So it was funny because you had a guy dressed up in the penguin costume at first, right?
Right.
And so he starts beating up on him, and then it goes just out of camera shot, and then he grabs what looks like the guy, but it's really just a fake penguin that looks exactly the same, and he throws it over the side and down. And the best part about it is like the fans start beating up on it, right? And it gets all the way down to right behind the Penguins bench. And then there's like a little bit of a tussle between fans and security, because darn well where that penguin was headed next if security didn't get their hands on it.
Exactly right. You're
It was going right over the glass onto the Penguins bench, and then we would have had a whole viral video and a whole incident out of that, right? So it came pretty close to disaster, but the security at the Xfinity Mobile Arena did their job and were able to get it out of the way. So
what do you think? Should we get the brooms out? You feeling a sweep in this series?
I think so now. I think that you don't want to. The Penguins look beaten, and you don't want to give them any life whatsoever. Like they'll probably come out and give you a strong first 10 minutes of the game, kind of like they did yesterday, right? You weather that storm and you're still tied, or you're winning, or even if you're only down 1 goal, the Flyers probably win that game Saturday, and that's it. And it'll be the first time, if they do it, first time they swept a playoff series since 1995.
Wow.
Against the New York Rangers.
Back in my day.
Yeah. 95 was the last time that the Flyers swept a playoff series. So
Is this the last year of how many of the three, Letang and
I can't imagine Letang is back. I cannot imagine he's back. He looks like a ghost of himself.
And how about Crosby and
Crosby
Malkin?
And Malkin, I mean, maybe they have another year. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. Like, does Crosby say he wants to chase one more championship? I mean, he's still got a little bit left in him. So does Malkin. I mean, Malkin's about to turn 40, but he's still got a little bit left in him. Do they look at it and say, let's go chase a championship somewhere else? Or do they say, let's just ride it out one more year in Pittsburgh, do the Dubai tour and be gone, right? Like, it's really going to be up to them.
They look like they should be going to the senior center. I mean,
get him, Chris. Or Crosby can go to the professional wrestling since he's such a good actor.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, thank you so much for checking in with us here for All In down here at or up here in the Poconos.
Yeah, we're up.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Anytime.
All right, we'll do it again next time we're
up
here doing our All In thing.
Thanks, Anthony.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was great because it's finally we have an expert that knows what they're talking about as opposed to us knuckleheads.
Yeah,
except for you, Tommy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I can be thrown in a knucklehead every now and then.
All right. Well, thanks, Chris, for having us.
Yeah, man.
Tommy, thanks for making the trip.
Hey, no problem, dude.
Enjoy the festivities now. This is when the fun begins.
Yes, sir, it is. You're joining in, correct?
No, he's not.
Come on.
He's bailing on us.
You bailing again?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I got to get my I'm going to play golf next time. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, golf and dinner.
Well, supposedly Lee's going to set us all up.
Yeah.
You're coming too.
Really?
Yes.
I'm you know that you throw golf in there.
We keep talking about it all the time, and it just doesn't come through. So
next time.
Yeah.
Well, great spot here. We're in the Pocono or the poker room.
Yes.
And a lot of great stuff happening here. They got the casino floor just outside. The sports gaming is just behind us.
Yes.
And
for y'all enthusiasts.
Any exciting parlays?
I mean, well, I might have to put now that I think about it. I might now
Brazer
that
might play it.
I'm getting into hockey, so maybe if there's some whatever games on tonight, I'll take a look at it. And there's been some great hockey games, and also some basketball. I don't know NBA as well as NHL, so
put some money on the Flyers to sweep though, maybe with a Porter Martone goal.
Maybe you could. No, but I don't want to do that because then I do that, and then all of a sudden the Penguins win, and then
put the bad mojo on them.
Mojo. I can't.
Hey, you stay out of it, Brazer.
I can't. I can't give him the bad mojo
because I've seen him start to lose his cool.
Yeah,
he's been so much happier now.
Yes, I'm more relaxed.
He's more relaxed. I mean, we don't need to see the old Brazer.
You see how relaxed I am right now, and and it's a tight game right here.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you get a little worked up there.
I do. Yes, I do.
Oh, that'll wait, Harper.
But not anymore.
He popped up, huh?
Well, but he advanced the runner.
Did he?
So we have runners on third with one out. So we have a chance to get this runner in.
Hey, one more reminder about stuff happening here at the Mount Airy Casino and Lodge. They got the music coming up. Ultimate Night Out happening Saturday, March 14th. Oh, nope, we're past that one. Hold on a second. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, yeah. Vic DiPotetto. He's going to be out here with his comedy. That's May 16th. And then they got that Eagles tribute.
Seven Bridges.
And check that out here at the Mount Airy Casino. All guests must be at least 21 years of age. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Yeah, classic rock to funky pop. They got it all here at the Mount Airy Casino. All right, boys. Thanks much.
All right. Appreciate it. Go Flyers, go Phillies, go Sixers.
Yeah.
And let's go Eagles. Let's make sure we have a good draft tonight in the next 2 days.
Yeah.
We're going all in.
And then
all in.
And to end that, let's go eat.
Let's go eat. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good game. Let's eat.